All right. And we are live. The last word. Lord Cognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy, Travis, fresh on that Thursday evening Destiny Campfire. A little special guest action before we get into that. E, how we doing, man? What's going on with you? How's the cheetah doing?
Cheetah's good. Taking care
Ooh.
of a very sick wife, so she is not doing so
Ooh.
great. She got the flu, kind of getting her butt
Yeah,
whooped right now. It's
it's no joke.
the legit one that's like just things hurt, fever. I think her
Mm,
fever broke last night because it's like you
okay.
got the night sweats going on, and I'm sleeping in the other
Mm,
side of the house to try and not get it.
I feel you.
But trying
Chest
to take
congestion, cough.
everything.
Yeah, the cough is the
Yeah,
worst.
the
That's the
cough.
part that takes a
I
Taking
hate
care
coughs because they hang on for like a
Yeah.
month. But yeah,
Yep.
she sounds like it's
taking
all.
care of a
Mhm.
very sick wife. I think you're one personal tragedy away from having a show on HBO.
Oh my god.
Very close. Very close.
But
The
other than
Last
that,
of Us.
we can talk about what we played a little bit later because I don't want to go too long on the intro here or anything. But played a little early access yesterday. Got something else I'm going to check out tomorrow. So enjoying a couple of things, and yeah, we'll talk about Destiny as well. That's still in there for a bit. Travis, what about you?
I am working on some stuff I can't talk about.
Ooh, exclusive.
Yeah. Good times.
NDA.
Good times.
NDA boys in the building.
NDI boys in the house. I did play all of my Destiny homework, so it's going to be interesting 5 months
Chores
without
done.
that.
You did your chores,
And
Yeah.
Chores are
did all
done.
my star chores.
Star
And
Trek.
then yeah. And then I
I
think
love that.
I've been playing some Disney Dreamlight Valley as well because we might do a re-review for that because my original review was during early access and a lot of stuff has
Ooh.
changed. So been tinkering with
Nice.
that a little bit and excited
Mhm.
about all this Prince of Persia stuff we're seeing out there.
Oh
Man.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
I
amazing.
know.
yeah,
That's what I can say I've got access to jump into that tomorrow, so I'll be doing that.
hmm
So stay
Nice.
tuned.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, for me, it's just been again caught up on Destiny homework and actually played Call of Duty. I've been in a Call of Duty
Yeah, I
mode.
think I saw that or heard that on Duke or
Yeah,
something. I was
yeah,
like, "Wait,
yes,
who are you? What?"
yes. I played the latest one. I haven't played Call of Duty almost 10 years. I have thoughts. It was kind of funny. It's popcorn. It's over the
It's your
top. It
summer
reminds me of
blockbuster,
yeah. It reminds
high
me of
fidelity, big explosions. Yeah, like
Remember that show 24? Doop, doop, doop. Like it's that. It's just popcorn over the top foolishness. And I was like, all right, I'm here for it. So I did
Have
that.
you
And
heard
then
of this franchise called Fast and Furious?
I was gonna say,
yes.
yeah, Travis
Yes, I
definitely
have heard
understands the
of.
over the top,
Yeah.
absolutely silly
Yeah.
franchise. Yeah,
That's
There's
literally
a master out there I could introduce you to.
yeah.
and then of course still rocking a little bit of Baldur's Gate. And I think I've upset an entire goblin village. I think they're very angry with me. So
No,
yeah, that's
I've
been
got to
and
get to
playing
that at
co-op.
some point. I've got to get
It's
that to
very
some point.
interesting. Yeah, co-op is interesting to see your friends' decisions. It's hilarious. Yeah, it's suggesting what they should do or what you should pick. It's kind of funny, but enough about me. We've got a very patient guest here. We gotta bring
Indeed.
the
So
else
let's
out.
introduce her as we always do. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 279. This week we actually saw the end of Season of the Wish. 2024 game releases have begun to come out, and Game to Give begins next week, which we're all excited for. Who better discuss all the good world can do but someone who does amazing work herself? Our guest today started gaming all the way back with the orange and gray duck hunt gun in the Buckeye State. Progressed to Pokemon obsession, but has the Xbox 360 to thank for her FPS introduction. When you have
Mm.
Halo 2 and The Witcher 3 as a couple of your favorite games of all time, I think it's safe to say our guest has a solid taste in gaming. So FPS games, check. Epic story and combat games, check. And then 2020, she found Destiny 2. What started as a way to spend more time with her long distance boyfriend, yes, I'm sorry to say she is taken, gentlemen, she is off the market, turned into every campaign at the time in 24 hours and all the raids in back-to-back nights. She went hardcore and dove deep. So let's welcome my dog, apparently, who's going to scream at the front door. That's midnight. Anyway, let's see if I can get through this and then I'll let you talk. So let's welcome a St. Jude's researcher by day and streamer by night, someone who can't catch her breath after her teammates die to spike traps, enjoys traveling to as many unique spots of the world as she can, has studied the art of crisscross applesauce, enjoys an evening of drinkstedy every now and then, and is just a bright light in this community for all the charity work she does around this community. The one, the only, AllTimeBrianna. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Go check on my dog now.
What an intro, even from the dog
I
too.
know he killed that. He killed
You know, I was
that.
thinking that intro would have went really hard with the dog noises if he was rapping her intro. I feel like that would have
That would have
really
been like the constant
that would have
beat.
sold it. Yeah, the wolves in the background, and
The
he's like,
wolves in the
"Yo, have you heard of this girl?" Yeah.
Oh my lord, that
That
was
would be
fun.
good, dude.
Speaking of dog noises and trends, I was checking one of your streams. You have a model for 2024. You want to talk about sucking cake and zoinks?
Oh,
Yeah. I was listening.
oh my god. No,
Yeah,
okay,
what's the
listen.
model for 2024?
That was like the context is here and that clip is all the way over here.
Oh God.
Oh god. Man, that's what we're opening with, huh?
Oh, we started. We
What
doing
did I
right there.
miss? What did I
literally
seriously? What did I
laughed.
miss?
You have to watch one of Twitch
Yeah.
streams, and it says this is the model for 2024. And they said we zoink it and we sucking cake, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm here
Whoa.
for it though.
Yeah.
Listen, no, we were talking about actual cake,
Yeah.
not the dirty stuff. I swear.
I just made a wife for, celebrating made a cake for my wife. That was a weird sentence. Anyway, so I appreciate the cake. But yeah, that's a weird way to phrase it. I haven't heard that one before. Just really enjoy cake.
I wish I could tell you how we got there. Usually something is said and I'm like, okay, there was a path here, and even it doesn't make sense.
So there's no
we're
A to Z. It's just
no, there's
squiggles in the
just-
middle and you get there.
Yeah, and usually some incoherent screaming on my part. So
Zoink.
Yeah,
Serious
yeah,
clever
yeah.
girl says they would never talk about dirty stuff in your stream. Mm-mm.
nope.
Nope, none whatsoever.
Not
Yeah,
in my
you got a
mind,
whole
that's
lot of
for sure.
people throwing you under the bus right now.
No, see, they're all saying we would never.
That's
Which
all
I'd never lie.
sarcasm. See, we understand the internet sometimes.
No doubt. But I had to get you. That was fun. But I would start gaming history a little bit. Obviously, you have some brothers, and some classic Duck Hunt, and then some 360 in there.
Mhm.
So I want to get with you as far as like kind of the vivid memories back then, just kind of starting with gaming. Any other little classics or any gems that resonated with you?
Yeah, of course, like as the younger sister of two brothers that always played video games, I just wanted to be involved. I did not care with what, looking back on it, I probably didn't actually care about Duck Hunt, but I just like if they were gonna let me play, then I was gonna play, right? So
Nice.
I did love Dig Dug. I still love Dig Dug.
Ooh, classic.
But they were always PlayStation, and I wasn't allowed to play on their PlayStation. No, I was only allowed to play on like the N64 and Atari with them. But
Mhm.
They gave you the
we
side console that you could.
No, yeah.
yeah,
I think that's
Yeah.
PlayStation's motto back in those days. No
Damn.
girls allowed, right?
pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
But I
It's a
eventually
different
bought
time.
my
It was
It
different
was.
direction.
It was. I mean, and then I got into the Xbox 360 days and early COD and stuff like that.
thank
That was
God.
definitely a different time.
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
Sure was. Those
But
hot
I mean-
mics.
Wait, I gotta
everywhere.
back you up. Online lobbies or just like
course.
campaign?
Of
Oh, you was
course.
you back
I was
in
in
that?
there.
Oh,
I
them
was
lobbies
in
is
there.
wild, girl.
I'm like,
Yes.
you can't hurt me nowadays, man.
Oh, for
Oh, you
sure.
see,
I've
you
been
heard some
hurt.
things. You
What's
seen
Yep.
some things.
Yep.
She was
You've been
submitted
through
to the
life.
she
Okay.
was submitted to the dog noises. She
Oh,
had to
yeah,
deal
yeah.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we call.
Yeah,
That's what we called the
but-
dog noises back
man,
then.
that's gonna stick now. I'm gonna be thinking about something. I'm gonna get some hate message and be like, man, those dog noises.
The dog noises, dude. Just barking.
Hey,
up the
hey,
wrong
chat!
tree,
All of
dog
you that are
noises.
in here on Twitch right now, you got to remember this and carry it over to our future
Yes,
streams, so
right.
that way nobody
Yes.
understands what you're talking about. It'll be your little inside joke.
Wow, them COD lobbies. Go ahead.
Oh
Alright.
yeah. But
Those are the days.
Mhm.
Davey's on it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I loved like campaign days, of course. Like
Yeah.
some days when I didn't want to deal with it, but absolutely we got home from school and like instantly onto
Nice.
COD lobbies multiplayer. So I
Mhm.
liked that. I was a wuss even back then, so I didn't play a whole ton of zombies, especially
Okay.
since my friends were kind of jerks and like left me behind. What was the one map early on that was there was the bus that left you behind like in a
Oh,
farm
I know you're
field?
talking about. I forget the name. I know you're talking about. Yep.
The first time I ever played, they just left me by myself. And so that wasn't like my favorite mode ever, but I played it whenever I needed to.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, did
Transit.
Halo, did all of those things. I loved the Fable games.
Ooh,
Um,
Can't go wrong.
Fable 3 is up there. It's not probably like in my top 5, but there's some fond memories there. Um,
Mhm.
and people from
Nice.
my chat have heard this story, but I'm going to tell you guys because it's just more fuel for you to make fun of me, of
There we
course.
go. Yeah,
Let's go.
we'll take
That's what we
it.
here for.
So I had multiple playthroughs of Fable 3, right?
Mhm.
And I was determined to do a perfectly good playthrough. Like I was going to be a good roller, no
Mhm.
bad decisions. So I'm doing great, right? I don't know if you guys remember, you used to be able to like kick the chickens, like you used to pick
Yes.
them up and punt them.
Mhm.
So that doesn't make you a bad, like that doesn't affect your karma or whatever you wanted to call it. However, missing, which was the B button, missing the punt button and accidentally casting a fire spell in a crowded town with people all around, and being responsible for a town barbecue, that did affect my karma. So
So did you
Yeah.
that
ever actually
playthrough.
go back and complete a good run, or did that
Nope.
just cement you were done?
Honest to God, that might have been the last time I've ever played Fable 3.
You're like, I burned down the entire town. I'm setting the game down now.
Like, well, time to go back to Call of Duty lobbies.
You can do
But
you can do less damage in there.
But that is still, and like I was I was just sitting alone playing by myself, like, but that is still one of my favorite
Nice.
gaming memories.
That's pretty great, actually. Be like, I'm gonna be so good, and
Yep.
then it all went
Mhm.
wrong in one button.
I know.
And
That
it
was
was
classic.
it originated in me just missing the chicken with the aim. So my aim was
So,
bad.
are you excited for kind of? There was a little bit of like in-game cinematic preview for the new one that's coming. Did that catch your eye?
Yes, I would definitely dive into it
Nice.
happily. So
Nice. Yeah, Fable. A lot of memories. People really love that. And again, the morality system. And then once you get horns, if you keep doing bad things or whatever, kicking the chickens. Yeah, it was something for its time, for sure. So you get in there and you stay in FPS.
Hold on, Three Geeks has
Sorry?
a very good joke. He's like, it was a foul mistake.
spelled foul with a W, didn't they?
Correct. Yeah,
Mhm.
you may not see may not see my YouTube chat, but they nailed it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Cog.
Nah, you good. You good. So yeah, then the FPS, and then it's this little game that me and Trav like called Halo. Talk about that.
Yeah,
Somehow insinuating that I don't in that sentence, which thank you for that.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't.
you don't mess with these kind of things. You don't
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you could see the Halo sword or the energy sword back there.
No.
But
Ooh.
yeah, I
Yes, I do.
Halo
I
was
remember.
largely like my own game. I didn't my friends at the time were like strictly COD guys.
Mhm.
So it didn't really fully develop until I think I got a little older.
Okay.
So Halo 2, looking back on it from kind of the lens of all of the Halos is one
Mhm.
of my favorite games of all time. But probably my most playtime was Halo Reach because that was kind of when I was able to get all of my friends to kind of play a little bit more.
Nice.
Very similarly, like my Call of Duty days, the most playtime I had was in Modern Warfare 3, but that was just timing and how my friends lined up and everything. Um, but yeah, I absolutely love Halo 2. I liked Halo Reach a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I played I've played all of them. I played Infinite when it first came out.
Mhm.
And I've taken a break, but I've been getting a little hype. I know that they released a
Yeah.
season trailer
Mhm.
today or the
Mhm.
other day. So that might be, especially in this Destiny lull, that might be something we revisit in the next couple months.
Nice. Trav,
Yeah, what
any
was the recent season 5 that I think has been doing well? Is that the right one?
Oh, I think she's talking about the show, right?
Oh yeah,
The
season
show,
2
the show
trailer.
got a trailer
Yeah,
That's
today.
yeah.
Sorry, I should have specified. So the
Nope.
show, the idea or the talk about the show news made me think about playing Halo
Playing it.
again.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No, I saw that trailer today too, and it actually looks hopefully better than the first season, maybe.
You should miss the
Man,
trailer. I gotta check it out.
I
Yeah.
just can't. I don't know how I feel about it. Can't get past it, man.
Well, I mean,
Mm.
you had some amazing names for it, Cog. I can't remember Master Cheeks or something
Oh,
like
Master
Master Cheeks with
Cheeks,
the
yeah,
Master
yeah.
Cheeks.
and
Yeah.
face
All,
out and other things out.
all caked
Mhm.
out.
He's
Yeah, I
zoinking
gotta see the new
sucking
trailer.
cake.
He might be sucking
That was
cake or
Yeah,
something, but
he's making it
yeah,
sucking cake
dude.
for
That
sure.
was the subtitle of the first season. Zoinking
Man,
sucking cake.
he should have kept the. Never mind.
The
helmet.
mask on.
You kept the
Yeah,
helmet
say
on,
the
but nothing else. But
helmet stays on, yeah, something like that.
I mean,
No, he did
would have
not
put.
keep the
Yeah,
helmet on.
like
I-
should have
kept
pulled a
no phone
Shax
on.
there, but he did not.
Yeah. Everybody's looking at that trailer like, hey, the second season might be good. And I'm like, bro, some things are beyond saving. Because the entire season is about, the fall of Reach, which is cool. But in this version of the Halo universe, he caused the fall of Reach by banging an alien and making Cortana watch. So I don't know if there's anything that could happen at Reach that would justify that
Yeah.
level of storytelling in air
Woo.
quotes. It's
Yeah,
horrifying.
I don't know if you come back from that.
The only way I like this show is if it's so bad that I can enjoy it, because I think I fell off that show after like the 4th season, and then when I heard how the later episodes happened, I was like, "Oh my god, I have to watch it now. I have to
You
because
got to watch it to see.
that sounds so bad. I just need to watch it." And then it was so bad, I kind of came back around on it. I was like, "All right, that was worth my time because it was just so terrible." But now if it's good, no, that's unacceptable. An unacceptable outcome for me. It needs to be terrible.
Keep it in the box.
Irredeemable. I need it to be irredeemable.
No doubt. E?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So as we kind of progress through gaming, obviously
Can I
shooters.
ask her a question?
Yeah, go nuts.
Sorry, Jeff.
What's your favorite Halo map?
Good question.
What's the I'm so bad with map names. I hate when people ask me this.
Describe it to me and I will remember it.
I like the one that I actually like the one that's on the big team battle with all the ramps.
Valhalla?
Yes, that
Ragnarok.
one.
Yeah, that one.
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Yeah,
I like that one.
one's sick. And
I
the
just
man
like the
cannons that you can
Yeah.
drive your warthog through. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
Halo 3 map.
Yes.
Okay. What was the other one?
That was the one.
Okay. got it.
That is my
I'm
one.
sorry, the correct answer was Lockout, but it's
Oh
okay. You get
man,
partial
okay, well I
credit.
had
Yeah.
fun.
And next week on the Last Word Pod, we'll try again. No, I'm just kidding.
Say what you want about Halo. No, really. I'll wait. But I will say I think they still to this date have the best maps in any multiplayer game. Like just their roster is insanely good. And across the years too, and across different titles. That's
Yeah.
Hey, they keep
Great
at least
maps.
making new PvP maps, so that's at
Yeah,
least a good start.
that's
Wouldn't that be
something,
nice?
man. Wouldn't that be awesome in another game?
What company would do that? What company would
know.
make a lot of multiplayer maps? Not any
Crazy.
company called Bungie, I'm sure.
Wild.
Yeah.
Like we have been graced by a cat presence, but it is not on. I cropped her out, so she's not on he or she. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah,
That is King Kai.
King
He is-
Kai.
Oh,
Oh,
It's the king. It's the
Yeah,
king.
named after Dragon Ball, King Kai. So.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
Nice. Trying to pick apart
Is
your
King
display
Kai-
now.
The really annoying blue one that lives on the tiny planet
Yeah.
and makes Goku train in 10 times gravity. 2 times. Just making sure we were thinking of the same character since you guys said it with such joy, and I remember only pain in those episodes, but that's okay. Those skippable episodes, as they are known.
Hey, filler is good for the soul, okay?
When the
Filler
filler is
episodes
one episode
good.
of all screaming and charging.
No, those are the good episodes.
Oh, okay.
Filler, yeah, those are the good ones, dude. There's the
May.
filler.
So on next
real
week episode, May. No, I didn't never watch that much of it, but my brother had me
Oh, I
watch
did.
some of it. So I was like, I got a some here and there between a little bit of it.
No doubt, no doubt. So they transition from that, and then this little game of ours that we play called Destiny. How did that start?
Yeah, so I started in July of 2020, which is obviously super, super late to the franchise. I had heard about it probably a few years prior. I was late to even hearing about it. And then I think I, saw an announcement on something and I was just like, that is way too much. Never, never, never can I get into all of that, just because I felt so behind.
Okay.
And then my boyfriend at the time, who I say boyfriend at the time because he's now fiance, but
There you go.
Absolutely.
he lives in Northwest Canada and I was in Ohio, and it was just something that we needed to, or we were looking for things to play games together with. I learned mouse and keyboard on Escape from Tarkov.
Oh wow.
If you know anything about Escape
Talk
from
about
Tarkov,
jumping into the
Yes.
deep end. Jeez.
Yes. Tactical.
it's stressful. I'm
Mhm.
kind of terrified of the game more than I enjoy it 90% of the time, I think. But so we're like, okay, we need a more chill game to play together. And he's like, okay, I play Destiny. I have several hours or several hundred hours at that time.
Mhm.
I can teach you. Like that could be our game
Nice.
together.
Nice.
I said, okay, I'll give it a try. I'm a little overwhelmed, but whatever.
We have been told
Um,
she is cracked, so
That's lies. But we went through all of the campaigns like within like 3 days, and from then on out I was kind of hooked. I've always been a story person, story and
Mhm.
lore, so I definitely kind of dove into that more than anything else.
Mhm.
Um,
Now you did them in sequence as far as like
mhm.
he took you
So
back like what, D2, D1, like the whole
no,
thing, or
sorry,
D2?
all of the D2 campaigns.
So did you get
So
to
we
play
do
Red
like Red
War?
War.
You got Red
I
War.
started.
Nice.
Okay.
I came in right at the tail end of that new player experience. Like I got loaded into the Red War campaign right away.
Nice.
Okay.
So I was very grateful for kind of when I joined for joining late because
Yeah.
it was
Okay, that don't exist no more.
yeah,
It
exactly. So
should
now
still
I
exist,
It
but yeah, it
does.
does not.
You just have to play it in pieces over the course of 3 months. Yeah.
Right. But no, I live tweeted the whole thing. I got like when you get kicked off of the map by Gaul or whoever, like I was like live tweeting, why did he just punt that guy off? And then I was like, oh my god, that was me. Like I was the little guy,
I lost my light.
yeah. But it was super overwhelming. So I largely I had no intention of ever streaming it. And I didn't for the first probably 4 months off stream. I found a group that we did all 7 raids that were
Ooh.
in within
Ooh.
like a day and a half.
Wow.
It was like the definition of jumping in with both feet. Like I was like, I don't know anything about raiding. I don't know. I don't think I had done so much as like more than just a Vanguard strike, right? So,
Mhm.
but I was like, "Oh, I'll trust him."
That's
And I loved
hardcore.
it. I was super, super lucky to again do the raids
Mhm.
like Crown and all of that they
Mhm.
left shortly after I got all booted up. So,
Oh,
I
can
got to
you
experience that.
I wanna back you up because that is, diving in, like, again, with both feet, hardcore, from strikes to from campaign to strikes to raids is a hierarchy there. So, with the raid mechanics and the puzzles and stuff like that, like, were there any particular raids that stood out more to you that you like, "I really enjoyed, like, this might be my favorite raid?"
Yes. So still to this day, Last Wish, Dreaming City, anything is my favorite, but Last Wish is my favorite
Ooh.
raid. I okay, now I'm like 0 for 2
She's good.
on Travis's
You are no one
opinion.
wins with Travis in here, so you're fine. Don't
You're good,
even
you
worry
good,
That's
about
man.
it.
okay.
Don't worry about
I can stick to this one. To be completely honest, I was super interested just by the look of it at first. I
Mhm.
mean, I just think Dreaming City
Oh,
aesthetic is the coolest.
one of the best skyboxes in Destiny history. Continue.
But when it like finally when Vault Encounter finally clicked, I was like,
Mhm.
this is the coolest thing. Like,
Ooh,
and again,
Vault.
I was completely blind, so I didn't even have any like context to like what a big bad wolf Vault was, right?
Mhm,
It was
mhm,
just kind of like, okay, I'll join up and I'll do whatever. And as I'm
mhm,
learning, I'm like, oh my god, this is so much more in depth than anybody told me it was
Yeah.
gonna be.
mhm.
And it was right there, I was kind of like, okay, if this can kind of like play on that part of my brain that really likes the puzzles and the figuring out and the kind of chaos of I love like cross comms in
Yeah,
team play. I
I
just think
got
it's the
you.
most chaotic like beauty of all
All right,
time.
you two over here. Like that kind of thing, and
Yeah,
calling
and
out
it's like you just
symbols
have
and
to like
signs.
listen among all 6 voices of like which one you're talking to. I just think
Yes.
it's a cool thing.
Mhm,
Um, but yeah, I love Last Wish. I did enjoy pretty much any of like the PvE stuff I got thrown into. I will say I was just an abysmal warlock. I mean, so I'm a warlock main. I was just
oh, you're doing
abysmal
good.
at jumping.
Woman of
Just
culture. Woman of, no, you're good. You're good. You're
absolutely
good.
just the
You don't
worst.
have to say abysmal, it's implied.
Oh,
Just
thank you,
say
thank you.
warlock.
No, you're a woman of class.
Listen,
She knows things. She's been through things. I like
listen, I'm
this.
cultured now and I'm still on Warlock, so I guess I'm doing something
Talk to him.
intentionally. But no, I'm still awful at jumping, right? So
Yeah, we back.
Whisper was so many people look back on it and they're like, that's the best, best exotic mission of all time and blah blah blah.
Terrifies us.
I had the worst, like that was one of the few times in a video game where I was like, nobody talk to me, let me do my thing.
Can I interrupt you one second?
Yes, yes,
I
please.
empathize you with you as a warlock, as a bad jumper, right? The worst thing in jumper puzzles is that when everyone figures it out and you don't want anyone to talk to you because you know you last. You know you're behind.
We're all waiting down at the bottom of
and they're
Vaulted
all
Glass
waiting
looking up at you.
And for
Man,
me particularly, it's the blind jumps and jumping up, like floofing up sometimes to get it. And when they don't mantle, like D2 save, you got to say for D1, there was no mantle. At least D2, there has a mantle for Warlock sometimes. But I just thought it was funny that you go through that same stress that I would go through as a Warlock,
and
as a horrible jumper. Continue.
floating with your gun to your side and your face just like hits the side of a cliff and you just slowly fall down and you're like, man, like now everybody's watching me. I'm more mad than I was at the start of this jump. And it was just, that was one of the very few times, like even throughout my COD days where I was like, nobody even look at me. Like, go do your thing. I'll meet you there. Do
Yes.
your thing for the 8 minutes that you need to do, and I'll see you on the other side. And it was just not. So looking back on it, absolutely, I could do it. I could probably do it better than I did, however many years ago. But I don't have that like rose tinted glasses of Whisper. I hope it never comes back because then I'll never be expected to do it.
I feel your pain. I feel your
At some
pain.
point, we
I
got to
paid
get
my
back.
price.
Whisper, 0 Hour. We got to see those again at some point.
Yeah.
Icebreaker.
I'm gonna like plead ignorance even when it does come back, and I know I'm gonna act like I don't, and then we're just not gonna ever do it on stream ever again because thank God that was before my streaming days because chat would have seen another side of me that I prefer that they never see.
Fair enough. E, you was gonna jump in. I had to get some Warlock love. That was funny.
No, I'm trying to think of like jumping puzzles. Crota's in on the ship puzzle. How'd that go?
Ooh.
See, now I'm good with that.
Okay, so that
because
wasn't so bad.
By the time it came out for me, for my first time doing it, I had like 3 years of figuring out how to jump adequately.
Okay.
Whisper was just
Yeah.
too
That was
early on
early.
in my
That was
career.
early.
It was early.
Fair.
It was early. And Voidlock, I'm surprised. Most people, so I would say there's with a lot of well locks and not too many arc locks, but Voidlock is very specific.
It likes
So,
to
like,
blow
what
stuff
goes
up. What? I'm not
the
surprised.
the whole devour,
Yeah.
the purple energy, what was it that drew you to that subclass?
Honestly, I think just Nova Bomb. Like in general, I just thought it was super cool, and I was like, okay, let's see what this
I'm
does.
still
And
jealous of
then-
Nova Bomb as a Titan because
It's
we
just
don't have any
cool.
one-off supers
One-offs, yeah.
that we get to throw. And even the one that we're going to get in final shape, we have to throw 3 times to do our
Yeah,
full
you throw
damage. It's not just,
hammers.
but yeah, none of them are just like one and done. Everything is always, hold on, let me pull out another hammer just to try and stack up to your one giant floating Nova Bomb.
Yeah.
Not fair.
Yeah, no, I did Arc Warlock a lot. I liked it, and that was like pre 3.0. Again, I enjoy it now. I don't know, Voidlock just caught me, and now I think it's more of a nostalgia thing than anything. I if I'm going into high-end content and I don't desperately need to be a well lock, I will be on a Void Warlock. My
Preach.
survivability is just considerably better, and I feel like I play better and more confidently whenever I have
Nice.
my little purple orb, and especially now with Child of the Old Gods, the little void
Ooh.
buddy going
And
and,
the
doling out the
arms.
sucks.
Yeah, the new arms.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yes. Those are so good. Absolutely, no doubt. I respect. And now, obviously, we have to deal with those other classes. What is it, the Titan?
Yeah.
So any
2 Titans on the other side of the podcast. How's it going, sir? Yeah.
So any Titan love,
Good
any
luck.
specific,
Good luck finishing any encounters without us, by the way.
Mm.
any Titan love, any specific subclasses or anything that drew you?
Like, so all jokes aside, like my group of friends is pretty well balanced without even meaning to be. Like we have, probably about equal amounts hunters and titans and warlocks. Um I am not I do not love titans very
Say
much.
it with your chat. It's okay. It's okay. You're amongst friends. You're amongst friends. It's okay.
Come
We know.
into an Iron Banner stream and you'll hear it maybe a little forcefully.
Well, I understand that one. I don't like him in there either, but there's a reason. Especially if it's like
Um,
Iron Banner, and now with the fortress mode, it's just bubbles and wells and walls, and it's the whole thing. Yeah.
See, and then that's when Nova Bomb is even better because they pop a bubble and you
Blow
just
that thing right on up.
absolutely, and
See,
everybody inside of it.
I've been a solar titan
Um,
through and through for a very long time, so I don't usually mess with all that stuff. Our bubble's
No,
useless anyway. You just gotta go well.
It is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm a
now
bubble
that being
titan.
said, I really, really do enjoy playing the other classes and subclasses. I am not on the Strand train the way other people are, and I don't know if I just haven't given it. I have fun when I play it, and I had
Okay.
fun whenever it first, we first got it and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just not like I'm gonna boot up on a Strand
Mm.
whatever today. It's just not really something that comes to mind right away.
Okay.
But again, that could largely be for lack of trying or
I get
lack
it.
of
I get it.
time in. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I always boot up on a warlock unless I have something specific to do. But I
Mhm.
did promise my chat that I'm going to play my other two classes pre-final shape, and also clean out my vault. So we'll see which one
Ah, nice.
comes
Nice.
to
Nice.
fruition.
Yeah, Strand takes a little while. I think as a lock, I think the super is very powerful. It's criminally underrated, and I would highly recommend do the suspend build, the shackle grenade,
Mhm.
spend them up, or use the consume the grenade, and then every shot you have with, I believe it's Weaver's Trance, get them up. And the aspect that is still underrated to me is the one where you get the actual thread link, throw it, and then it makes them suspend. You can
Mhm.
really control rooms on high end content. So I've come around on it, but it took a while. It took a
Yeah.
while
And
as
now
a Sherlock.
how do we feel about the new bow, Wishkeeper?
Eh,
Mm.
is that wrong? I love bows. Don't get me wrong. I've used a
Okay,
lot
that
of
was gonna be my
bows.
follow-up.
No. Wish Ender is one of my babies. I've used Trinity Ghoul, Layman Arc, depending on the activity and champions. And I love anytime I can use a bow. And probably most of my solo flawlesses at some point have used a bow. Wishkeeper has not sold me on its need yet, especially because that means I'm not using Wish. I'm gonna get him screwed up. Wishkeeper hasn't sold me on the need to get rid of Wish Ender.
Ender.
Got him right. What?
Yeah.
Anybody else have thoughts? Because those are mine.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
I think
pretty
Wish
similar.
Ender's
I'm sorry, Trav.
better. Wish Ender's clearly the better weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
got a
and
unique trait that you can use to exploit a whole bunch of things in the game. I mean, isn't
yeah.
that why we do this? So that we can avoid playing the game as Bungie intended? Isn't that
That's
the
Teddy's
goal?
mentality.
Yeah,
Shout
Yeah.
out to Teddy.
because technically, what is it, like a wall hack, and it has anti-barrier,
Wall hack,
right?
anti-barrier, and it hits targets 2 to 3 times depending on what it does, and it
Yeah,
just hits like a truck. So yeah,
yeah.
kind of hard to be
So
like, oh, let
I
me
have a
shoot
question.
6 times and try and charge up my one little suspend polygon over here. Or
Mhm.
I can just actually delete things.
Yeah.
It hasn't sold itself to me yet. I mean, I'll get all the catalyst and be done with it, but then it's probably gonna get tucked away in a vault when I'm done.
Mhm.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Do you disagree,
No,
Brianna?
I like the idea of it. I think it needs something to
Yeah.
it. Like whether like somebody in chat was saying higher impact or just something that gives you a little bit more payoff for having to shoot something, 6
Yeah.
times or whatever.
I think part of it for me was that when it was in development, it might have been pretty good, but somewhere when it was probably initially made, and now Suspend also got nerfed pretty hard, which
Mhm.
I really enjoyed as a Titan for a while, and that's probably what kind of stopped me playing Titan with
Not
Suspend.
allowed to enjoy it. That was your mistake.
I'm
Can't enjoy
sorry.
things.
I'm
It's
sorry,
destiny,
Oots. We
okay?
can't have nice
It's
things
work.
here. That's how it goes.
It's
But yeah,
work.
I was like, the Suspend build was fun as a Titan. I used it for a while, and then I kind of dropped off Strand as well when the Suspend nerf happened. So then, as this is based around Suspend, and they last for a couple seconds in the air, and then you get a little bonus to Suspend. I don't know. It's just one of those. Ibontis got Suspend nerf because I liked it. I'm not as powerful as Salted Greppo. Don't give me that much credit. Come on.
You're saying suspend got suspended.
Yeah. I think Suspend nearly got expelled, but that's a whole different problem. So.
Mm.
I
Travis,
got
you get a
a.
question?
I have a question. Yeah.
Oh no.
So
Yeah, he keeps
Brianna,
them interesting. That's what he does.
you and I have something in common, which is that we are the two panelists here who have rated with our loved ones, our significant other. And
That
this is
that is
this
true.
is important. I can't talk to Ebontis and Cog about this because they don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, Cog and I have rated together, and our relationship is certainly closer than that with me and my fiance, both physically and emotionally, but not the same thing. So my
Right.
question for you is, what is the best or worst part of rating with your significant other, and do you feel like it brought you together, or do you feel like sometimes it threatened to tear you apart? This is my question.
I wish I could think of something like ultra clever, but to be completely honest, like raiding with my fiance is one of my favorite things in the world to do. I think especially like in
Winter's wolf
having
cry, he's safe.
yes, that would be fiance. I think that it's definitely funny in terms of like I'll look back on clips or something and I'll hear the way he and I talk to each other versus the way everybody else talks to each other, and it's kind of like, "Oh, you can tell we're a couple." Like, you
Oh
could
yeah.
get just the audio and tell that we're a couple. But, all things considered, we have played tons of games together, and especially games like Tarkov and stuff where, like, our communication isn't always in full sentences. It's just one of those, like,
Yeah, but
you
if you're
kinda know
together,
how
it
to
doesn't
communicate.
have to be. That's yeah. I
Right,
mean, you and
right.
your significant other, whether wife, boy, you're together long enough. Communication's different. That's fair. I get that.
Yeah, so there are definitely and keep in mind we're long distance, so some of the times where I would like to say, go into a room and say, "Hey, why did you wipe to that?" I can't, so I have a little bit of time to blow off some steam there,
I
but
do. I do. I've been requested to ask
You
you
haven't
about
been
a but.
tested.
yeah.
There was a buddy
You haven't
moment in
been.
Tarkov. What's the buddy
Oh my
moment?
god. So the running joke is when VoIP
Sorry, I
was
have to
first
do a chat asked. Have to.
when VoIP was first added in Tarkov, I didn't really talk because again, I grew up in COD lobbies and I know what happens when
Yeah.
you're a
Mhm.
woman's voice in VoIP, especially in a game.
That's no
So
joke, dude.
That's
No, that's
so
true.
real,
Yep.
though.
Yeah, well,
I could
hearing
take
a
up
woman's voice,
hours.
a woman's voice in lobby is like somebody brought up like politics or religion. Like it just sets
It's
off like a bomb in the
it's
chat.
it
It's
is
crazy.
like it is like formulaic. Like there is a
Yeah,
pause and then there is chaos. It is
yeah.
and it's like you don't whatever. Like we don't have enough time.
It's the
Yeah,
ultimate
that's
dog noises trigger. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
that is the definition of dog noises in a lobby.
Dog noises, dude, for sure.
I
But
hate that this is sticking, actually.
Yes.
It's
I
Kinda
know,
good. It's
It's
man.
good. I
actually
love it.
good.
Love
Yeah.
it.
But no, so we're in a raid and he talks for me basically. Like we're in a Discord call and if somebody comes up and is asking what we're doing or whatever,
He talks
he's
for
the one
me.
who responds. And he was I forget what he was saying, but he basically said, "My buddy over here needs this." And I like took a
My
second. I was like,
buddy.
"Chat, did he just call me his buddy?" Like, so it was just it just unraveled to this set of memes of like the one Avengers clip uh where Iron Man calls out or Tony Stark calls out Cap for like saying
language,
shit or like yeah.
language. Yeah.
And so they put like, "Oh, did you just call her buddy?" Like so it just went into this whole like I think his name in my Discord is still like streamer's buddy. Like it just became this thing where it's
Dude.
like,
That's kind
man,
of amazing.
If I ever called my fiance buddy, she'd be like, "Did you just break up with me in chat? Is that what you
like
did?"
there's no way to say
Straight
no and
up,
like
like,
anymore.
I need to
yo,
talk to you in private,
whoa.
buddy.
Yeah.
I
So yeah, it
love
just
it.
and I mean all from good intentions because he didn't want to say my girlfriend because
Right.
then that does
Mhm.
the same thing as me but it just
But now the wedding invitations are Buddy is marrying Brianna, and it's like, all right,
yeah. Yeah.
we've taken
So
this too far. But you have to lean into it on some of those. You just do.
yeah, I accepted that I
Well,
got demoted, so
Yeah.
When are you guys going to not be long distance, and who's moving to whom?
he is moving to
ooh.
me.
Good. That's the correct choice. Canada is a
Yeah.
hellscape.
Now,
Yeah, okay.
oof. Um,
Great.
But no, he is moving to me, and hopefully sometime in the near future, it is a logistical nightmare. So we are.
I can only
It's
imagine.
been pre-COVID that we've been doing this, so
Wow.
I am ready for it to be over. I
Do
think we all
you,
are, not
pal,
just he and I.
take your buddy?
Do you, pal, take your buddy in this lawfully casual
Oh, the
ceremony to
the worst
be next
part
to each
is
other?
as we're saying this, our officiant is also in chat, so please don't give him any ideas.
Oh, that's
No, this is all
fantastic.
ammunition. All
That's
ammunition. Please take
fantastic.
notes.
That's perfect.
Please take
Well,
notes. I appreciate
I'm
that.
excited when you guys are in person to see if raiding with him or gaming with him changes at all. Because I will say, there's some tense off mic moments when you're sitting on the same
You mute
couch
up and
as
you're
your
like, "Hey,
loved
what
one.
the?"
Yo, could you please? Are you?
Stand on the plate.
We're trying to finish this raid tonight, right? Like that's the goal.
Now we have survived multiple day one raid experiences together, so I
Ooh,
feel
that's
like we're in
impressive.
pretty
That's
good,
impressive.
you
That
know?
is
Yeah.
that's a real
That's
test.
relationship. That's character right
It's like
there.
Like
that may be the
multiple.
second test of a relationship. COVID was the first test, and you guys
Yeah.
have done. You
No,
granted
that's the last test. If you can do that, get married right now. That's my that's crazy.
Yep. They're saying he's a keeper. Apparently, you've passed
one
day one raid experiences. Yeah.
Day one
Multiple
is
day
dude,
ones?
Multiple
day
day
one, man. You ever start a day one raid and you can tell it's gonna get how it's gonna get because everybody starts a day one raid the same.
Yes.
Ultra nice,
Yes.
eggshell walking because everyone knows we are gonna hate each other in 10 hours. And so it starts off with everybody being like, guys, let's set up like the most calm communication. Everybody just chill out. You guys need a break? Everybody need a back massage? Like, let's chill. Because you know that someone's going to do something, and after 8 hours, people's brains aren't going to be working right, and you're going to hate all of your best friends.
So what if I told you that the second part is accurate for my group of friends, but the first part never happens
So
either?
it just starts
You guys don't start off level set. It starts out bad.
I would love to say that we start on the rails, no matter when we're.
Okay, that's crazy because certainly earlier on in Destiny, before there was like a raid canon, a raid meta, right? It was like, all right, everybody just starts out like already kind of frustrated, you know? But I feel like day one raids, everybody's been in those groups where things are just like you're at each other's throats and nobody wants to take each other's advice or listen to each other. And so now there's like this weird, like creepy calm
Yeah, it's like
before everybody knows it's gonna happen. So they're just like being extra,
See,
cautious.
I got lucky for like the last 3 or 4.
Yeah, we know you played with celebs. Shut up.
Oh my god.
God,
No, but the thing is,
I played with the best raiders in the game,
it
and
wasn't
we
that,
all
'cause
respected each other.
we have finished 1, and it was Root of Nightmares. So it's not
That's
like we're
true.
like the best team.
I finished more than you with LFG team.
Exactly. So I was like, you finished more. But I will say it was the idea that I didn't know who I was getting into because a lot of content creators together, I'm like, that is a lot of people who likely want to get this thing done, could be a lot of stress. And somehow the group that I was with managed to be the chillest like I've ever had for an experience. But it was a very good juxtaposition from my previous raid where it was like, there were about 2 or 3 people that everybody's like, gonna pull your hair out for kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you almost don't want to say it like to the 1 or 2 that keep dying. Because if you've been there, you know, it's like, there are 1 or 2 people that keep dying over and over, and we can't do it without you, but I don't want to call you out directly, but what the hell are you doing kind of thing, kind of, and you don't want to do that. So then when we went over and it's like, everybody was like, chill, everybody's dying enough and all those things. So it's just, you own it if you die and you move on. It was just, yeah. And you guys go pure chaos all the time. It sounds like Chad is, by the way, confirming everything you're saying, that it is chaos all the time. So that is great.
And now I will say, like, it is chaos all the time, and of course we get frustrated toward the end. It would be, not possible as a human to not get frustrated doing the
Of
same
course.
task for stupid amounts of hours.
Mhm.
I'm very lucky. Like that is kind of the overarching theme of my experience in Destiny is I am very lucky to have the group that I have because I'm one of the most competitive people on the planet. Oh, I have a fiance thing with that, but I'm one of the most
Put a
competitive
pin
people on
in
the
that.
planet. And I definitely hate when I'm doing something badly. So I get frustrated, and then of course everybody gets frustrated, and it's just so of course, we have that. But I'm very lucky that it's usually like okay, we need to take a walk, and then we come back and then you're making jokes again. Like it's not like a once you're down in the hole, you're down there forever.
Gotcha.
But the fiance thing is, I'm a very competitive person. He is a very good sport, and sometimes it just grinds my gears because it is like
He's
we'll be
he's too like
Too-
Yes.
patient, and you're like, have some urgency, damn it, like that.
no,
Like, yeah.
or like we'll be like 1v1. We do a lot of like random
1v1 me,
loadout.
bro?
You
We do like
1v1?
random loadout, like
1v1 me, bro. I'm sorry,
1v1
buddy.
me, bro.
Buddy, 1v1 me, buddy.
or like like a private match where we do random loadouts and just mess around on Destiny. And he'll kill me and I'll be like raging, like foaming at the mouth, raging.
And he was like, "Oh, you can do better next time. You'll get it."
Or I'll kill him and he'll be like, "Wow, that was a great shot." I'm like, "Don't tell me that." Like so that is a very that is probably more than raiding together. If we are playing a PvP something together, whether it's against each other or he's saying good shot to the other team, that's where that's
That's where the
it gets
disconnect.
a little-
You're like, "Oh, that was a great kill," and you're like, "Shut up."
His good sportsmanship annoys you. Yeah, I am prone to that sometimes.
Yeah.
Where like people are being a little too positive, and I'm like, do you guys want to win this thing, or do you want to be nice about it? Come on, I think we're trying to win. Like
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
know.
get
I wanna
like
learn how to be
You
a
want to
good
win or be
loser. I wanna
friends?
be
Because
a-
it's not both.
Yeah. Like I don't want to learn how to be a good loser. I don't want to learn how to be a loser at all. Like,
I don't want to.
yeah, or I had this
understand
teammate.
that behavior.
I had a teammate once in trial who I was me and my buddy Mason were carrying a third guy through trials, and he kept complimenting other teams' work and
Nope.
being like, "Wow, that was a really good shot." And we're like, "Yeah, maybe you could learn something from him." I just like snapped and said that to him.
Well, Travis, of all
And he was
things,
just like, he's like, "Oh."
all you do is roast people, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
On that.
That's surprised.
It's like, hey, maybe take notes, huh? Next time he shoots you in the face and kills you. All right.
What did
maybe
he do right?
Maybe do
'Cause
that.
you're
all right?
doing none of that.
Chad was like, "Stop getting picked."
Yeah,
Just sit in
dude,
the back and don't die so early. Just for 5
funny.
seconds, be alive.
I really respect the people who do carries for like money or just like as on stream just for fun, because like I've done it many times on occasion and my fuse is way too short to because I get mad when somebody's not pulling their weight. It doesn't feel fair to me, That's just my capitalist brain works that way. So that's funny.
I love it.
but no,
Oh.
now all things considered, I don't think I'm mean. I'm just competitive. But again, I had to prove my worth to even get to play Duck Hunt, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, no, you've been fighting for a controller your entire life, and you just feel
Yeah,
like you
man,
wanna-
nobody's taking
Really?
it from me.
So,
especially when I'm
questions:
choosing the other team.
for the times you and your fiance get to see each other, have board games ever been involved? You just not even open that.
I don't know if we've ever played board games. We have done like Super Smash. We've done Mario Kart. We played It Takes Two together, which was really fun.
That's a great game.
Yeah, actually we had a bunch of people meet in Ohio, actually at my parents' house for New Year's Eve, and we did like Super Smash and stuff like that. And the physical violence could occur at some points if but like Super Smash is that game, right? Like you get edge guarded or somebody like picks you up on Donkey Kong and dive bombs off the cliff. Like I'm standing up.
Yeah.
The controller's being set down for a second.
Yeah.
Pause.
Let's do this outside. Separate
Right.
arena out
Right.
front for sure.
Oh, Mario Kart, blue shelling when you're in first place the whole time, and then you just get screwed over for the entire last lap. Yep, been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Classic. Oh man.
That's the Nintendo games it's all fun and games when you're playing Destiny, But
Mhm.
And it gets serious
play-
with
you play-
Nintendo.
you play a game on Mario Party,
Yeah.
like that's that's like we're deciding who gets to keep the pets. You know what I mean? Like this is not for pleasure.
Mm-hmm. No, that's real.
Oh.
It's real. The competitive aspect. And just quickly, you guys play trials as well, or no? Yeah.
I traditionally no. So
Okay.
we've done like comp stuff here and there. We were actually just talking. We went on like this. One of my favorite recent Destiny memories is me, him, and our friend Ben we were like, oh, we'll play a little bit of comp one night, have some drinks and hang out and stuff. And we went on this like heater of it was like 16 win streak or whatever.
Jeez.
And I looked outside. I took out my headphones and I was like, are those birds? And we ended up playing until like 7 in the happening because we were on this great, great
Awesome.
streak. But we have I know my limits of my skill in
Mhm.
Destiny PvP, and threes is not much of my vibe. I like it. I enjoy
Mhm.
it. But I
What's
mean,
your vibe?
I competed in the G1 thing at GCX and got absolutely embarrassed. So I know my lane. I'll stay in it.
I'm
That's
good.
totally
I'm good
fair.
right here. That's it.
Speaking of some drinks, we have Drinkstiny. So I need to hear about
Ooh.
this and some of the possible weapons and beverages that have come to pass previously. So tell us about Drinkstiny.
Yeah, so Drinksney started quite a few years ago. It's gone on a couple hiatuses, just I've moved and stuff like that. It was originally an every other week thing. But it's coming back and it'll be an every month thing because every other week was a bit much. But we choose an exotic weapon.
Okay.
Um, we make a cocktail themed around it. And then we either do, Crucible, usually sixes because it's easier. It's kind of our community night thing, so it's easier to get people through. So whether it's Crucible or raids or whatever it may be, and we drink that drink and only use that weapon. And that's our community night for that evening.
Ooh.
So the first one was Risk Runner, and it was
Mhm.
like an electric blue lemonade. It was like a
Nice.
vodka drink.
Yep.
Nice.
We've done Wither Horde, that was White Russians.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Just
All
just
right.
stuff like, and usually if it's a primary weapon, we almost always go into Crucible because again, the plan is to only use that weapon. So if,
Right. Yeah.
heavy
Not
ammo
gonna
wouldn't
go
make
do a
sense.
raid or something. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Risk
Exactly.
Runner. Yeah.
But I mean, we did a raid night of Whisper, where
Nice.
we if you had heavy ammo, you were using Whisper only. Just
What was the
it
drink with Whisper?
Whisper only. It's too
Oh
good.
god, I can't remember. I have a document somewhere of what they all are,
Oh,
but,
well, I feel like Sunshot, Tommy's
did
Matchbook. You've
Sunshot.
got like Goldschlager, Fireball. There's some. I could see some working.
Yeah,
Black Raspberry Margarita. I want one of those right now. That sounds great.
yeah, it was like a really dark margarita that almost looked like the Taken or the ornament on Whisper, like the little
Okay.
black
I don't
sparkles.
recommend it because it typically goes downhill quickly. But Jaeger bombs probably feel like they belong, and some of those take it for like
Right.
what am I thinking of? What's the hand cannon that's taken?
Oh, was it Malfeasance?
Yes, yeah, that would be
Mhm.
one.
Yeah,
Full
and
Moon
then
Teeny.
oh, yeah, so we did one of my favorites was kind of like we did Sunshot versus Hawkmoon.
Okay.
So each one had its cocktail, and you had to vote which one you liked better, and that
Yeah,
was the drink that you made and the weapon that you used. And then we did private matches with Hawkmoon versus Sunshot. And just
nice.
it's a fun community night way. And of course, like if you don't drink, you could still participate. Just use the weapon, right? But it gets it gets pretty chaotic. I despise Jotun and I despise Dares of Eternity. So
Jotun
naturally, we
is
did
for
a Dares.
skillless friends.
Yes, naturally we
Yeah.
did Dares with Jotun night, and we made a cinnamon toast crunch cocktail because toaster and all of that.
Nice.
Nice.
Um,
Well
so
done.
yeah, sometimes the drink is themed after the look of the weapon, sometimes it's themed after the ability of it, sometimes it's themed
Mhm.
just after memes or, inside jokes of it.
Have you seen the cocktails in the Destiny cookbook?
I think
Yeah.
I used a similar one to the Sunshot one, I think is one, but, I have seen those.
I feel like a
Nice.
mudslide with a gummy worm would kind of work with Whisper of the Worm, maybe. You can get a little creative there.
Yeah, and you gotta get fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Because and especially, like, there's only so many, like, cinnamon flavored drinks we can do for
Yeah.
solar weapons or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, so we, get kinda creative with it.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Very, very unique mix. No question. And then the streaming, what you're known for. We're gonna get into that, how that started.
Yeah, so I started stream in end of 2019 with Fortnite primarily, Fortnite and Minecraft. I started
Well, the
sitting
same
on
thing,
my
really. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exact same
Whoa.
activity, it just depended on
Whoa.
the night. No,
I know.
I was streaming from my Xbox, literally like Connect cam and all.
Oh,
And was,
wow.
did it just like sitting on my bed because I had been a member of Dr. Lupo's community on Twitch for quite a few years. And had made friends, and it was just kind of like, well, we're already playing games together. I might as well stream it for anybody who's not, playing with us. Um, not really thought, didn't really think much of it. And within like a week, I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting a PC. It quickly. Um, did Minecraft and Fortnite for a while. Um, Streamed some of The Witcher. Actually, streamed all three of The Witcher games.
Wow.
Nice.
And all of that. And then eventually found my way to streaming Destiny, and that's been my main game since. Um, but I dress up like Bob Ross and paint. Do I built, puzzles on streams or stuff like that. Try and do a little bit of everything.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. Kind of takes me to what's coming up actually very soon, but a lot of the before we get to the charity work, which you've done some amazing stuff there, I kind of want to get into I don't know if you want to talk about your job, but it's very intriguing for just like a researcher at St. Jude's. I know you work with your hematologist working on like sickle cell and that type of stuff. Like, how did you what was the career progression from college to get into that specific of a field? Was St. Jude something that called to you? Did you happen to be there? Like, how did that whole progression happen? How did you land there?
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to go into medicine. This is super cliche, but like since I was a little kid. I had my first surgery like on my hand or something whenever I was 10, and I met an anesthesiologist and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Like
Mm.
I was blown away. I was like, you're putting me to sleep and then waking me up whenever the heck you want. Like that's crazy. Um so since then I kind of have been working toward it. I whenever I was in undergrad, I went to Ohio State for undergrad, and I started working at a children's hospital there in Columbus, just as like I was supposed to be like an unpaid intern, and it ended up being a job for most of my undergrad. I was super
Yes.
lucky, um, and I knew I was semi interested in pediatrics, but I didn't know that like that was my calling or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Um, and as soon as I started working there, I was like, "Okay, I'm never getting away from pediatrics." Like, once you're there and you're working in a NICU with little babies, you're like, "This is my calling if there is such a thing." Um, so after I graduated undergrad, I went down to Florida, to pursue my master's degree in anatomy. Um, that's where I started streaming because honestly, I was just kind of lonely. I
Fair.
was 2,000 miles away from anybody I knew.
Mhm.
And then completed my master's degree in the midst of COVID.
Wow.
Got Went back to Ohio State as an employee. Worked in rheumatology and immunology with adults.
Mm.
Enjoyed it, but didn't love it. So
Gotcha.
that kind of reaffirmed the whole like I belong in a pediatric field. Um, and on a particularly confident day, I guess I was like, I'll see if St. Jude has any openings because
Okay.
in the field of pediatrics, it's St. Jude is kind of like, the upper echelon of
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and they I don't think I realized how small of an employee base it really has under its umbrella. So I guess I didn't realize how low the chances are. I think I probably wouldn't have applied if I didn't realize or if I realized. Um, but I applied. I got the interview. And after a grueling like 6-month process, I
Oof.
was moving down to Memphis, Tennessee, and
Mm.
I will actually in beginning of March, that will be my 2 years that I've been working there.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I do research with sickle cell disease, primarily in gene therapy.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a lot of, taking the kids' own cells, modifying them with whatever product we may have, um, basically telling the cells that this is what you're supposed to look like, putting
Mhm.
it back into the body, and hoping that the rest of the body says, "Okay, this is what we should look like," and, you cycle the good cells through, and that
That's
that's
STEM,
the
right?
hope. Yeah. Yeah, stem cells.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
And now I can talk about it, which is super cool because I wasn't able to. It just got FDA recently, a trial for older kids, so 12 and above, just got approved by the FDA as an approved treatment. So it is no longer technically experimental. It can
Mm,
be, you know, given to people from around the world and potentially cure the symptoms of their sickle cell. So
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
yeah,
really awesome. Big time, and especially coming from the Bronx and seeing that in my community a lot, and to see you work in that, it's yeah, because it's a very deep, debilitating condition for those who have to experience it, and that's really awesome that you contributed in that way, and the research and the advancements in the field that's been going on since then. So yeah, that's
thank
awesome. It's
you.
pretty dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been I I knew, you when you're in school and you're learning all of these things in these books and you hear, okay, the symptoms are frequent hospitalizations and pain and stuff like that. You think and you're like, wow, that's awful. I can't imagine a 7-year-old going through that.
Oof.
And then you see the 7-year-old going through that, and it's
Oh,
completely different, right?
brutal.
I mean,
Yeah.
because then you start thinking, like, I have a nephew who's around that age, and I'm like, he cares about his cars and who he doesn't wanna share them with, and that's
Hmm.
all 7-year-olds should have to worry about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
not about, "I've been in the hospital for 20 of the last 30 days," or whatever it may be. Um, so it definitely is very rewarding to be in a field that you believe in what you're doing.
Mhm.
I know, like, that's the dream, of course, but medicine isn't always that, like, one-to-one reciprocity. There's a lot of time investment, and that's not to say every single day I walk away like, "I changed one whole life today." Some days I sit and answer emails too, just like anybody else, but it is a really fun place to be as a worker, a patient, a doctor, anybody. Everybody's kind of behind the same cause, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Dope.
it's kind of hearing you talk about like your calling towards kids makes sense because I had an aunt, lost her just actually last year. She worked in the NICU for damn near as long as I can remember. So it does sound like if you get started in there or you kind of figure out that that's your calling to get away from it, seems like it's probably not going to happen because, as you said, what you see, what you're around, and if you can do anything to just make any of their lives better and stuff like that, which
Right.
kind of takes me into part of like your connection now. It's like, because when I met you, it was at GCX, literally just on the floor, kind of bumped into you and chatting, and then talking with Jared and everything. And then I kind of wanted to ask you how kind of that connection happened because I know the Bungie Foundation for the longest time, like I've been helping fundraise for them for like 4 or 5 years now, I think. And the iPads for Kids program is something I never thought about, but as soon as I heard of it, I was like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're going through, as you said, some of the worst times of their lives, the parents too, but it's like if somehow there's any kind of distraction, I was like, that makes perfect sense to see that in there. So that was just a really cool program to hear about. Now they do direct relief as well, but just kind of wanted to see now with all the charity work you've done. I looked on your Instagram. I think it was like last year or something you'd helped raised over $70,000 so far. I don't even know what your total is up to now at this point. So
That's total overall, yeah, in the
okay,
past 2.5 years, yeah.
that's absolutely amazing. So now you get to combine both. You get to combine your streaming and your love of gaming, and Destiny, paired with like all the work you do for. I mean, could you have asked to have everything land like just keep flipping the coin and they all land on heads for a little while? So it seems like you've done pretty well.
Yeah, it's funny because for the longest time, I was so adamant that I wasn't gonna let the 2 worlds collide. I have Brianna the scientist and AllTimeBrianna the streamer who says things that get clipped out of context and, brought up immediately.
Okay.
No.
Yep.
Um, but no, I was so adamant on it, and I was kind of resistant early on. My the very first charity stream I ever did, because I did know that I wanted, as soon as I started to stream and kind of had a little bit of a momentum or a following, um, I realized that that was always kind of a no-brainer, to do some type of charity stream. So I started to do charity streams for the Cerebral Palsy Foundation because my first job at the First Children's Hospital had to do with cerebral palsy and developmental disorders.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember it was like a 16-hour charity stream. I was so nervous. I'd only been streaming for like 4 months at the time. Um, and we ended up raising like $2,300, and
Damn.
that was like, I mean, that's more than I would ever have been able to contribute as, a broke grad student. So it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, this is the reach that I can have even with a small community. Um, and it's just kind of pinballed from there. Uh I started with the Bungie Foundation shortly after, once I started to kind of get into the Destiny community. Um and then once I started working at St. Jude, Sam Lupo is a really good friend,
Mm.
Dr. Lupo's
Yep.
wife,
Oh,
and she reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to participate in the GCX charity marathon?" And that was 2022, so that was 2 GCXs ago.
mhm.
And I was like, "Yes, absolutely."
Yeah.
And so she actually stuck me the spot right before Lupo,
Oh, yeah.
which was a graveyard shift. But it was cool to be the next to last block and pass it off to him. But again, from 4 to 8 Eastern
Yep.
in the morning is tough. So I was like, okay, temper your expectations, make it so your total rounds off to a nice pretty number. And I think it was like in 4,000 range. And we raised over $20,000.
Holy
And it was
Wow.
crap.
like,
Wow.
oh, okay, so we could do this.
That's
So then
amazing.
yeah, it was again beyond anything. And then I drove to GCX that morning. Um and there were people who were like coming up to me and saying, "I hope you enjoy your job at St. Jude." And it was just kind of like, "Oh god, okay, this is happening." And
And
I
the
was like, "Okay, I
connection is
don't
there.
hate
Yeah.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just weird. It took a little bit of getting used to, but then it's been incredible. Like, now that the worlds are meshed, it feels really, really cool. I've been super lucky to be involved with, like, the Play Live team on the AllSac side of St. Jude, um, who have incorporated me and invited me to, the Build Against Cancer things and
Awesome.
GCX and all of that, and I am just blown away that, we've gotten to make an impact not only as my community directly, but participating in greater causes, which is super
Mhm.
cool.
Super awesome. Love that synergy and to see the worlds collide like that. And then you kind of set that expectation, kind of humble, and then to exceed it, right? To see that the support is there is super dope for the community. And yeah, I agree with Three Geeks. The gaming community as a whole, tremendously charitable, some of the most amazing
Absolutely.
people. And that's one thing we can't take away, especially from GCX, the Destiny community, St. Jude's. And ever since I've been a part of it, obviously, Last Word was kind of founded in a sense based on charitable efforts. I was like, I want to go to a con, and that's how I met E, and then the thing took off from there. But yeah, that's super dope because I don't think the community gets enough credit for this, and
Yeah.
it's something that really needs to be highlighted, especially the cause. The cause is really cool.
In a community that's filled with dog noises, it's nice to see some positivity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never mind. I can't even come up with one that's the antithesis of dog noises, but
Yeah, that's probably okay. But no, I mean that's totally. I mean, what's that hashtag gaming does good? I've heard them use that in
Yeah.
a previous year and all those things. It was kind of one of those. I can't remember which year. It might have been 22, but I don't remember which. It was one of the times you put on a little VR headset and then you actually got to see. And I didn't know about ringing the bell when kind of they're in for their last treatment. I was just like, hold on, I'm gonna leave the headset on. I'll like wipe away a couple tears and just like get a little emotional in there. I mean, all those things. None of that stuff's it was not great to watch my aunt go through what she went through, but I mean, she did at least live into her 80s. When somebody's facing that at a young age and never quite know the outcome and stuff like that, I don't envy any parent in that, but I also don't
right.
envy, like obviously you said, what the kids are going through, and their kids are lucky enough sometimes to be like just some of the best troopers in all of those. Because you get to see somebody going through just some of the worst, and somehow they have pretty high spirits a lot of the time. So it's a little refreshing to see sometimes when there's a lot of not great stuff in the world. It is
Yeah,
good to see the positivity.
I
Mhm.
think like children as a whole are kind of like this, symbol for hope, like at their core, just, childhood and children and just the overall feeling that you get when you're either helping or talking to or hanging around children is just hope for the future, right? And that's what we should be focusing on, whether
Yes.
it's, you know, getting them through a day with an iPad or getting them through the day by completing a treatment but being in a good spirits about it. People talk about it all the time, but one thing that blows me away uh about St. Jude is it to every corner of every room, it is so like masterfully crafted to be a happy place.
Mm.
I don't know what my expectations were going into work that first day, but it was not for it to be as happy and carefree and lighthearted and bright as it truly was. Um, it was, yeah, it blew me away. It still does, even after however many days in on the campus. So I
Nice.
think it's really cool.
Super cool, super dope. Love it. Love to hear it. Love to see it.
So,
Awesome
do
stuff.
you have like your crazy incentive or anything ridiculous coming up for, everything starts next week. So I was curious if you got anything ridiculous. I saw something about a Chewy mask in chat. So I was like, I have no idea what
Um,
you're planning ahead here.
there's a Chewbacca mask that I put on that when you open your mouth, it makes chewy noises. That
Nice.
makes an appearance. I
Cool,
almost
Trav. I
always do
appreciate that.
a Bob Ross thing where I dress, like I said, I dress up as Bob Ross and I follow along. That's usually a
Oh, are
goodie.
you left shark or right shark?
Left shark, I
Good.
think.
Isn't that the fun one?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Man, that shark suit, it came out for the first time like a couple months ago, and now it's gonna be something I have to get into it is just this god awful monstrosity of a thing that I can't see or breathe or sit in, and I don't. The worst part is it has you know what sharks have? They have flippers.
Yeah.
They don't have fingers.
No
You know what you need to
dexterity.
play video games? Fingers.
Not flippers.
So that has been fun. I have done that. I'm sure
Dark
that'll make
suit
a comeback.
1v1 against your community.
Oh god. Oh god, I might take that. Oh yeah, there's the picture of it. There's one.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, the charity streams are always fun. I hadn't ever experienced Da Bomb before, the hot sauce. That was
Yeah.
that was
Terrible.
oh man.
It's one of the worst hot sauces, man.
It tastes bad. Like I tried, there were a
Yeah,
couple that I tried
it's-
because I did a habanero teriyaki, which was actually, I use that now because it was actually good. Then I tried one that was ghost pepper, but not, I don't like vinegar so much, which I know kind of gets away
Yep.
from like buffalo sauce, but like it was a ghost pepper sauce, but it wasn't vinegar based. It was mostly just the pepper. I'm like, all right, this is like cooking me a little bit, like pretty good, but it wasn't bad. And then the bomb, I just like cried for 10 minutes. I coughed. Like it is all sorts of awful. So when you get into some of those moments, I'm just like, it tastes bad. Nothing is good about this. And it still stays on like the Hot One show. I swear I would rather do the top one than Da Bomb. Da Bomb is just awful. So anybody who's thinking about doing that, I'd pick something else. I promise. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I was on the Boat Against Cancer just last month, and we did the Truth or Dab Hot Ones
Oh, yeah.
challenge thing, and that was not it. The bomb was just like as soon as it
Oh,
as
you
soon
can
as I
smell
bit
it.
down, it was just a moment of like, oh no.
Yeah.
Mm.
Instant regret.
Record
Instant regret.
scratch. Like I was just, and I can do spicy, but again, that's just like that's just a pain. It's
Yeah.
not, there's no taste to it.
Exactly.
It just
That's the
hurts.
best way to describe it. It is just
Ugh.
awful pain. Like it's even some of the other ones, they're like, oh man, it's so spicy. But they talk about a couple of the flavors. That's just evil in a bottle. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like devil in a bottle. It's just not good. So
Yeah, no.
yeah, skip that if you can. That's all. You can do anything else. You can make me do like 10, 20, 50 burpees back there. I may be passed out on the floor, but at least it's not that. So it's fine. Yeah, but the charity streams are fun. I think I ended up in, you said the shark costume. I ended up as I think Woody in one of mine because I had that as an old Halloween costume. Yeah, it's kind of rough.
What better way to, raise money for charity than to just embarrass yourself?
Exactly.
beyond belief
Yeah.
on
I mean, Yeah,
for,
it's the
for
least.
the kids.
It's for the kids. That's the thing. It's for the kids. I'm dying over here, but it's for the kids. I did one year where it was like every donation I'd spin an exercise wheel. I was so sore the next day.
Oh,
I was
remember that
so
one.
sore the next day
Yes.
because it was every little thing, and I had a workout bench down here, a couple of free weights, so I could do most things. So I tried to mix it up so the muscles didn't overlap too much. I didn't plan it as well as I should have. Let's just say that I didn't get enough variety in there. So yeah. I mean, but that's kind of the thing. It's like it is a dumb day, but then it was like, and even for me, I've not had one of the Lupo days where the man raises like $1 million, which is absolutely blows my mind, or anything even near yours. But even for me, it was like 3,500, $4,000 or something like that. I'm like, I couldn't donate that. So the fact that somehow my
Right.
crazy couple of hours or whatever managed to pull just even that much together, still kind of it's amazing. And then you hear how much. Like however much it takes to run St. Jude's for a minute or something. I forget if it's like $32 for a second or something. It's some crazy number and all of that. Every dollar matters, every dollar helps. Exactly. So that's in the end. It's like every little bit matters, which is always cool.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I think just like a constant like needing to feel like I need to pinch myself, whether it's at work or I'm raising money for the things that I do at work. It's just never in a million years did I think that like I would be here in any capacity, like talking to you as a St. Jude researcher or talking to you as a streamer. It just never was something that I anticipated whenever I, hit go live on my Twitch app on my Xbox. So
with the Connect back in the day, you took it
back
back
in
with
the
that one.
day.
I was like,
Connect
okay,
and
I remember
crisscross
that.
applesauce back there.
Thank
Just
you. Applesauce.
are you doing that right now or?
Yes.
Somebody called it out earlier, and I was gonna let it go for a while to see how long that stuck.
Awesome.
Well, do you guys have anything else to ask with regards to your history? I figure we could at least talk about how the current season of Destiny has wrapped up, since we do play this game occasionally,
We do play
every
this
now and
game.
then. Has everybody played the seasonal story and kind of finished it up?
Yep.
It happened
Oh.
to me.
It happened to you. All right. We're gonna save you for last with that wonderful jovial set of words. Cog, what did you
Yo.
think of the finale? And just kind of overall thoughts on how the season wrapped up and just the season.
Kind of quiet. I thought that for me, the highlight, I think Riven for me got better as it went along. I wanted to see, what the motivations were, what was going on, and then I thought I think we talked about it with the exotic mission, the Teramis love story kind of helped me kind of connect with her a little bit better, and the future of her clutch and
Yep.
the race and stuff like that. I learned a little bit more about Mara, and I think she kind of admitted, like, maybe I wasn't the best person, saying
Little
to
bit,
Riven,
yeah.
and, maybe
Really?
having her,
No
her
kidding.
whole species killed off while I kept her in a cage may not have been the greatest thing.
Yeah, she's the shepherd kill the Arachnite playthrough.
Yeah, yes, bro. Good analogy. Good analogy. So I'm sitting there. I'm just like, yeah, you weren't that great during that situation, but to semi redeem her, I felt that I did for the first, because I've been very hard on how they've been handling Crow. I just got to be honest. Like, I'm like, what are they gonna do with him? What's been going on? I felt he's been on pause for a long time, character development wise, and I felt finally we got a little something. We got a little something, which is okay. They have this connection, they're acknowledging this connection, and I felt Mara was very concerned, like, I can't lose you again,
Yep.
and the whole plan for him to go through. So I think they're trying to make him have his moment, right? Which is like, well, I gotta do this, I'm gonna see the cavalry through to the other side of this portal thing. And the little hand thing was my little moment for them when they did the little hand thing, and I'm like, all right, brother, sister, you're trying to salvage this thing. You know what I'm saying? No, where I went with that was still with the veil
We have
foolishness.
different takes on this show, as you can tell.
Yeah, clearly. With the veil foolishness, still, Osiris got to figure that out part. But I thought, look, it was what it was. It wasn't like spectacular, but I just felt like I learned a little bit about Mara's motivations, and I definitely liked Riven more towards the end of it. And now we wait on the portal situation, right? To see how that's going to go. And obviously, the elephant in the room is when Cade sees a certain somebody how that's gonna go. Especially, the context. So that's
He's probably
really
going to be
what
like,
I'm here
"What
for.
are you doing here?
Hey, bro.
What's up, buddy? Can I have my gun back? Maybe?
Yeah,
No?
yeah. And then I replayed Forsaken recently. Case said some things before he went out. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, tell that
Those
to your
last couple of
sister.
lines. Yeah,
He had
exactly.
some bars. He had bars for the boy. So I want to see how that go. I think everyone was waiting for that payoff. So I just hope they pull that part off and don't
That's got to
butcher
be
that.
somewhere early in the
Yeah.
opening cinematic, seeing the walkthrough. Somehow that's got to be part of it. If not, that is a massive missed opportunity in my opinion, because
And
those two need to somehow have a talk and either
yeah,
work something out. He's got to
yeah,
apologize. Got to have the Cade quip. Especially, I'm glad.
yeah.
I hope
I'm
you're
glad it will be
excited.
coming from.
I hope you're excited to see that epic confrontation in a Grimoire entry.
Don't do no, don't
Come on, we
gonna
got
be a war
Nathan
tab.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh,
I gotta hear a Nathan
he's
Fillion quip.
EU,
Come on.
baby. He's EU.
Don't give me
Get
that no
ready
card,
for it.
man. Oh,
Get ready for it.
Last thing, I want to give them a little fan service for the 15th wish payoff. Actually going to the last wish, going to the wishing well, and doing the thing. I just thought, because remember, that was like one of the biggest things in Destiny
I know. Yeah.
history. People were like, it does not exist, and I thought that was cool to at least pay that off in a way. But that was my thing of it. And now we wait.
Indeed.
See where we at.
Brianna, what about you?
Okay, so I have a question, and it's: do you guys think that Cade is existing currently in the Pale Heart, or do you think that he will be brought into existence as part of the start of Final Shape?
It's a good one.
Like
That's
right
a
now,
good
as Crow is portaling through time and space,
Yep.
do we think he's landing and seeing Cade, or do we think that he is playing a role to bring Cade back into being?
So my one thing that I've said is I do feel like Cade is only in existence within the Traveler. So I do. So your question of time now is interesting. Like, does he exist now? Does he exist because we go there as Guardians, and therefore he is created as some type of guide for the Guardians by the Traveler? That's a damn good question.
That's a great question.
So there's somewhere, I don't know if it was in a lore book or something, where Crow says something along the lines of, like, if I had one wish, it would be that I never killed Cade. And then there was this whole
I think I saw this. Yeah.
and anything is fair game to discuss, right? Anything that's
Yeah.
been
Oh yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're end of
Absolutely.
season. Yeah. No, you're good.
Okay. So with all of this focus of, like, Ahamkaras never grant their own wish. That's the biggest no-no, and blah blah blah. And there's just something, like, there's some foreshadowing going on there that I can't quite put the pieces together yet. And I don't know if we'll get more with, like, the wishes activity or whatever it may be. But I think that there's going to be something. I don't think that Cade is in existence right now. I think that there's going to be something with an Ahamkara that grants Crow's wish of never having killed Cade. I don't know how. Again, this is just like a brain canon where I don't know how, like, logistically they would make that happen, but without breaking a bunch of plot hole or breaking open a bunch of plot holes.
And also there's wouldn't it mean that it's like a monkey paw wish where, like, something's wrong, like he's back, but
Well,
isn't that
and we don't know what capacity he's back in, right? Like,
Yeah.
we've seen
Yeah.
a tiny little bit of him. Like, I just think that it's not just like, oh, Cade's back. It's like
Yep.
he could be back for 30 seconds in a Star Wars holo projection that we like, not that I think that it's going to be that shallow, but I do think that there's going to be an asterisk by Cade's back.
No, valid. I mean, was it if the details of when we see him? There's, what is it, like, the white stuff emanating from him. He definitely feels kind of like you said, maybe either paracausal or some type of within the state of the Traveler.
Yeah, he's
as
not
opposed to
quite
truly
just
back. Yeah,
just him on Earth. Not quite the same him. Something's up.
yeah.
Yeah, but that was kind of my question to piggyback off of your theories. But I agree. I think I wanted more from it. From the final week.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, as like, you see Riven half out of the portal, like I wanted something crazy to happen. Though I've been for the past however many seasons, I have been wanting like something massive to happen in the tower and like something bad to happen. Something truly bad, not just like a oh man, we made a deal with Riven, off she goes, everybody wave. I we just dealt with an Ahamkara and her clutch of eggs. Like there has to
Mhm.
be I wanted something out of, the 7-week
Okay.
investment that we just made. I
Yeah.
think that we'll get a little bit more with the don't shake your head. Let me huff my copium
The
while we
copium
talk.
is so strong these days.
I think that
Puff puff pass the copium.
man, we're gonna
Love it.
for the next 5 months, okay?
Love
But
it.
no,
A
I
Let me
lot.
wanted
steep
more.
all of my expectations onto the follow-up to Lightfall.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I wanted something with her being, half out of the portal and in the
Mhm.
helm. Like something should have happened that wasn't just pleasure doing business with you, tips hat and walks away. Um no, I'm hopeful that there's some weird plot twist with Crow and Cade.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get more Ahamkara stuff because I like the Ahamkara
Yeah.
storyline. I One thing that I really enjoyed about the storyline this season of the love story, the Riven's love story and everything
Mhm.
was just kind of opening up that door just a tiny bit to like Ahamkaras they're not just these like no brain
Right.
smash thing Godzilla beings of whatever. They have a little bit more depth to them and I think that
Mhm.
enables decision making to happen a
Mhm.
little bit more in Final Shape that I'm hoping for.
Yeah. No. I guess my question back to you would be then, what do you feel about obviously that we have a clutch of baby dragon eggs and the future. So maybe now we're really hopium, but like any future role of them involved with the witness, and helping like an Avengers
They're
story.
not
The
even
babies are born and
they're
they're
not
on our
even
side.
dragons yet though, much less being able to do
Ah,
what they're doing. So
But like, do we know the basic life cycle of an Ahamkara? Like, what's the age to
I gotta imagine they
destruction?
gotta. I think the problem with like any young, what's the idea that very young snakes and things like that are always the most dangerous because they can't control how much venom they use, kind of thing. And I feel like an Ahamkara could be in a similar situation because they always play with the power of their wishes and stuff. Well, first you got to get a dragon to a point where it understands what you're asking, but then to not mess with you, not misinterpret it, that kind of thing. I feel like the young dragons aren't going to have the best circumstances with the way the wishes are going to go down. So I feel like you got to wait a little bit, have some maturity. And again, you've got Mara, who I did appreciate the idea that Mara and Riven kind of came to this weird kind of finale of respect for each other a little bit, that, they played the game of chess both pretty well. And Riven actually said, I think you'll be able to actually teach my clutch something. I think that line actually hit pretty well because it showed that while Riven obviously didn't respect for what she did to all of the other cars and she was locked away and all this stuff, kind of the patience that Mara has, the celestial patience per se, when she's waiting and playing things out over the course of a very long span of time, but she's able to do that because of the wisdom and things that she has. It allows her to have some direction for the Ahamkara, but I do feel like that will take a long time to develop. So it's like, but you also got to get the Vanguard on board. Please don't go kill the Ahamkara again, kind of thing. So I feel like time's involved in that one. Again, it also depends on how long the Destiny franchise goes on. Is this a D3, the rise of the Ahamkara? Who knows? But right now, I'm there. It's interesting, but I don't know how much they're going to use them for a while. Got to wish for unlimited wishes. Yeah.
I think okay. I guess a follow up question to the head shaking down in my bottom right corner.
Thank you for
I guess
calling him out. Appreciate that.
He's been
I
patient.
guess like realistically, what are we expected to combat the witness with?
Mm.
Like what kind of power realistically are we because if it is just this collection of beings that has just slaughtered entire species, like what realistically are we I mean,
Guns,
Ahamkara's now are our current, probably biggest
guns,
powerhouse.
guns, standing on plates, probably juggling buffs, and if I had to guess, throwing an orb or two at something would be my guess. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna jump into it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Y'all,
Let's go. You been patient.
y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. First of all, the fact that you guys are thinking about the lore as much as you are, I'm certain it is more than Bungie has thought about this. Because, I mean, have you guys seen the Veil that we were going to get explanations for 4 seasons after the Lightfall expansion? I mean, this is the level of storytelling we're dealing with. I think the eggs are going into a bag labeled, wake me when you need me. And those dragons are going to
They were
become
gonna say
relevant
wake me
whenever
before you go, but that's different.
yeah, whenever it is that they need dragons or want to do another dragon season is when that's going to be relevant.
These are
I
the
don't
dragons.
think I don't think the Cade and Crow thing is going to be a big focus, or how Cade came back. I don't even know if it matters. I think they, throw Cade in there, and maybe there's a one line or two about how he came back, and one line or two about Crow. If we're lucky, we'll get to see Cade, Golden Gun Crow, and then he'll res himself. That'll be like the throwaway. Okay, yeah, I'm mad at you, right?
Get his
That'll
anger off.
yeah, just to get his anger off. If we're lucky, we'll get some joke like that. But I honestly think like there, it's probably going to be pretty minimal. It's going to be Ooga Booga, the witness is here, the one that you've been afraid of. Now you need to fight through a linear open world level or destination, get to the end, fight something apparently, because I guess we're going to do the actual witness during a raid, and then during the raid we're going to be standing on plates and shooting at the witness. That's the best I can do. And I would like to be proven wrong, but everything that I have so far tells me that I'm not, because what we know about the expansion is that it is more of the same. We know that they weren't able to do stuff like give the witness their own faction to fight against, right? We're getting one new enemy type added to the game, and this doesn't strike me as like being on the same level of Last Wish or something like that, where you're getting an entire secret destination. Bungie themselves has said that that era is over. They just went through layoffs where they were almost decimated as a company, meaning reduced by 1/10. I'm using the technical definition of decimated. And also delayed the game. Delayed a game that we know from internal, very good reporting from people who know Bungie folks, that the game was being called by its own playtesters good, not great, the expansion, right? So I just look, I would love to be proven wrong. I'm really hopeful that the delay means that they're pulling some stuff out of their butt and they're going to put that extra level of polish on it. I expect that the annual release cycle, the fact that they pushed Lightfall out in a short turnaround as they did, and it clearly wasn't the original plan, all of those signs indicate that they're just trying to get across the finish line passably, right? If they can pull off an 8 or something of that nature, and then they're going to do a lot of soul searching after the final shape to figure out what Destiny looks like in the future, post episodes and all of that other stuff with the things that their live service team's working on. That's my best guess, but I think all these uh theories about what's going to happen in the story are kind of hilarious. Destiny's never focused on story. That's always been in the grimoire. They know that their core audience doesn't want to see a cutscene that's longer than 3.5 minutes. I don't think they're going to be doing any of that in a proper expansion. I would be shocked if they would. And hey, the Witch Queen was great. That team is still largely working at Bungie, and I love the story in that. It's just not the vibes I'm getting with this expansion, and it's not at all in line with any of the sentiments we've heard from now former employees at Bungie about how this is turning out. So that's look, if I can serve any practical, useful purpose, it's to get your guys' expectations lower so that maybe you can be pleasantly surprised. Maybe, right? Maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't think that's ever a bad thing, but yeah, y'all are crazy. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna
Now
be.
I
But I
will say,
thought
like,
go
this is
ahead.
my favorite thing to do is to theorize, like in any game, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's up to or it's up to whoever is theorizing to realize that that's what they are. They're theories, and they're like, oh, that would be so sick. Like, do I realistically expect any of it to actually happen? No, let alone multiple things. But I just think it's cool because there is, and maybe call it my, amateur young Destiny self still, 3 years in, 3.5 years in. But I don't know. I think it's cool to delve into. I don't know. As somebody who grew up on stories that are kind of just all given to you, and rather than like trickled over multiple sources, whether it is grimoires or lore book entries or whatever it may be, storylines, I just think it's cool to kind of fill in the blanks until I'm told
Yeah.
otherwise.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what one of the reasons I kind of hate binge culture, right? Because now a show comes out and every single episode's there, and then people forget that it was ever a show.
Mhm.
I much prefer the week to week where you're like, oh, what do you think's going to happen next episode? There's kind of that water cooler discussion, and I think that's what you get with live service games is you get that ongoing discussion. That's really fun. I just think keeping your expectations in line is important. I mean, I look at this most recent season, and to me, the biggest problem with it, and the reason I was so disappointed in the finale, is because you guys ever see a heist movie, and you know how at the end they come up with the plan for the heist, and they go, "This is how it's going to go," and you hear them tell the plan so that later when the plan goes wrong, you know that it wasn't part of the plan. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about? Where they're
Mhm.
like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do," and then something goes terribly wrong, and you're like, "Oh my god, now what are they gonna do? Because that wasn't part of the plan." Um, Destiny basically did that with How to Get to the Witness, except for absolutely nothing went wrong. Everything went according to the plan, and you knew how the entire story was gonna go the first week that they announced it. In fact, you kind of knew it as soon as they said that there was gonna be a wish. You were like, "All right, so the wish is to go into the portal and meet the witness," right? And so it's kind of devastating when there's absolutely no surprises, and they're like, "Yeah, they're gonna send somebody through the portal. That person's gonna be Crow. Yep, Crow went through the portal."
Mhm. I
That's the
will agree with
story,
you there.
right?
Yeah.
It's just like the most like, what? There was no like like even if that was what they were gonna do, they wanted to send Crow through. They could have added some suspense to it, maybe
Yeah.
hid that reveal, maybe Crow jumps in without permission at the last second, or there's some, you know what I mean?
Pushes
Like
somebody out of
there's
the
like
way and dives. It's like, ugh.
there's got to be like some drama to it. And to me, this just felt like the most like it's it was entirely ordered in a way
Mhm.
that was very anticlimactic, and it doesn't make me very excited or very confident in how the final shape's going to happen. Because if the plan is to go in, find the witness, and kill him, I think that might be exactly what we're going to do. And if that's exactly what we do, I mean, how disappointing is that? It's like we
Right.
need to kill the witness. All right, we killed the witness. Cool. That's just not. It's a bummer.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I wanted something to go wrong in that. Like
Yeah.
something needed to at least go minimally wrong to make the suspense of like, "Oh my god, we're going into this finale of craziness." I definitely agree with that. And that's like I said, like I wanted like Riven to smash something and or like just or snatch up the eggs and go back through the portal or just
Yeah.
something weird,
Yeah.
Reneged.
Well, it's
to
like, I mean, if you think about, I'm not going to try and spoil anything, but for Avengers Endgame, there's a point where a group of people go travel through time. But when they come back, not everything went perfectly.
Right.
And right now, all we know is everybody went forward, or
Mhm.
the one went forward, I guess I would say. And eventually we're meant to go join Crow. That's, I think, the thing that Travis, being more the level-headed one, is probably right, but I would wish that he is wrong. Again,
Yeah.
that's a whole bunch of copium to hope that there is something when we get to that other side, that there is more to this story than the very smooth start that we got. It's not like, all right, everybody put on your time travel suits and hit your button. Right now, that's all
Right.
we've had happen. And you
Yeah.
got to hope somewhere on the other side of that, there's a lot more chaos that they are building to. But yeah, I'm completely with you guys that it is so far a very smooth start with the little bumps. And there wasn't even like, testing out the time machine first and then, sending time through Ant-Man and that whole point where that happens and stuff. There wasn't even no little bumps in the road like that. It was just, all right, we
Yeah.
found the eggs. And there was even in the mission when you were going through it in this last area, there was a little bit of like Vex that I hadn't really
Vex,
seen in future
yeah,
weeks. And I was
yeah.
like, okay, are the Vex gonna like step in and do something weird? And there was like, no. And I'm like, why were these that felt unfinished, unresolved, unnecessary for those little things to be in there when they
Yeah, I think
weren't
the
they
Vex thing
didn't
was
feel
fair.
like they were I thought that was building to something where there was going to be some takeover of the portal or something. And then, as you guys said, it was all very smooth. But I was
Yeah.
actually
Can you imagine going to see a heist movie and in the beginning of the third act they explain what the plan is and then you just watch that plan unfold without
Yeah.
any changes? Can you imagine how pissed you'd be leaving the theater? You'd be like, dude, what the they just did it. They just
Yeah.
pulled, I mean, they did the heist exactly. You'd feel very like cheated, and that's just kind of how I felt with this. I was just like, all right, they just did it. And you know what the worst part is? I knew that that's what was going to happen. We kind of all did because we've seen the Bungie storytelling recently. We're just like, yeah, it's going to happen exactly the way we all think it's going to happen.
Well, to go
Which,
back to Brianna's point earlier, when you're asking how we're going to face the witness, and I was actually watching, it was just the trailer for Lightfall came through Twitter, and I was sitting there watching it. I was like, we've done just a whole bunch of stuff with like guns. We do a lot of stuff with guns as Guardians. I mean, we have guns and then we have some space powers, but generally, it's a lot of stuff with guns. And I'm sitting there thinking, that one's got a little bit of the tease of the witness. We got Callus, who ended up being a bit of a chump. And then he was a letdown for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he was a big baby anyway. But you get to the witness who can literally flick their wrist and just slowly separate Guardians that are flying toward, and it's just shing, and like you're separated. Your question, I think, is a valid one though, and that's where I wonder. We actually talked about this last week, which was a good question, because I had asked these two to say, is the witness a worthwhile villain? We don't have a whole lot of build up to it so far, where we had Savathun, we had Season of the Lost, then you had the Crystal and Deborah Wilson talking to us for like 8 weeks or something, and then the whole transition and Osiris popping out. There were things that happened, and then that story that went with it, but the trickster and all that. We don't know that much about the witness. We got our one cutscene in the 5th week of a season that half the people may have missed, so they don't know. I don't know how important that piece is. I know it'll probably be in the when the servers are down for like final shape and they're showing the preview, that's going to be in there. We know that's going to be there. But it is the idea. If the witness is powerful enough to flick your wrist and just go, yep, you're done. Okay. So how do we combat something like that? Is it a combination of a lot of things? And so that's why I was like, I like your thinking of, are the Ahamkara involved? Is there something grander involved? What do we do? Swish and flick. Thank you. Actually, I've been working my way through my like Harry Potter rewatch that I do every few years. In essence, we should not be powerful enough to take on the witness. It doesn't feel like we are with just Guardians and a little bit of supers and stuff. If you get halfway near the witness, it's like, oh, look, and just another like flick of the wrist and the whole fire team's done. So I don't understand how. I know what Travis said, we're going to stand on plates and throw balls, which, very reductive, but also that's just raid mechanics and what we do. But it does feel like there's this separation of, I don't know how we get powerful enough to face the witness.
Right.
If there's something with the Traveler that we get empowered somehow that we're not normally. If it's like a 7-stage raid battle, which that's asking too much for a raid, that, I'll be happy if there's 5 encounters instead of 4. Because these last raids have been pretty consistent where it's, you get 2 bosses and a couple traversal encounters. If we get even one extra one, that will feel a little closer even to Last Wish to be that kind of thing. 12-person raid, that's asking way too much, I can tell you. That's been kind of the one thing I was even just noodling over recently, was the idea that we do just have guns and space powers. And the witness just flicked a wrist and Guardian's toast. So I'm going, how do we get to that level? How do we get to the level of actually taking on this enemy? And that was kind of the wonder. So I wanted to actually turn it back to you and ask, do you have any speculation of, how do we actually face the witness?
Me? You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guns.
and like, and
It's
I
a
guess
sidearm, actually. It's this little crossarm. It's
We
crossbow
just
sidearm.
need that. We just need that 50 more power level. We just need to
Right.
get
That's it.
50 power higher. That was the witness threshold. You didn't.
Okay.
No, I think for me,
Get your
I will be
pinnacles done.
Jesus, of course that God.
Messy.
No, I think for me,
Messy.
one of like what I need is an explanation for why we are more powerful whenever that is. Like, I don't necessarily need mechanics that are super different. I don't need to, turn into an Ahamkara myself. Like, I'm okay with standing on plates and shooting weapons, right? But I want to know why standing on plates and shooting weapons in the final shape does something when standing on plates and shooting weapons right now wouldn't do any. Like I need reasoning behind why I have what this power is that I have, why I have it, and why it's destructive against the witness. That would be enough for me to close the book and be like, all right,
I
that was
think
fine.
they will do that because usually their
Yeah.
raid mechanics have like a canon reason for why the ritual you're doing does something.
Yeah.
So I think they can get there. I just don't know if it's like I think when people talk about wanting those explanations, they want them to be like in a cutscene or in the limelight. And I don't know that that is even the right place for that. I think they are going to be lore tabs largely, or there'll be a side quest that happens in between the main campaign and the raid, where it's like a pre-raid mission where you'll have like voices talking in your ear of like, well, if we could only do this, then we stand a chance of beating the witness or something like that. And I think it'll probably be something like that. But
Yeah.
I just don't they've never put their lore or honestly even their story as their best foot forward or front and center. I don't know if they have data to suggest that players just don't care about it. That's just not the gamer they appeal to or what. But yeah, I don't have a ton of expectation that it's going to be like as in your face as the Witch Queen was. I think
Yeah.
that was like the most they ever really got in your face about like, hey, here's the story we're trying to tell and why it matters and why the lore matters and all that. I could be
Yeah.
wrong though. They could
Yeah.
surprise me. They always do. They're Bungie. They're good at what they do, despite my current pessimism. They're still
What?
some of the
Could
best
not pick that
devs
up
in the
at all.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, look, they're still some of the best devs in the business. If anybody can prove me wrong, it's them, and I want
for
them
sure.
to. Just to be clear.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's going to be, you know, the weight of the campaign. I think like the way Witch Queen's campaign kind of set the bar as far as the stages of dealing with Savathun, and obviously an amazing villain. So the witness has a lot to try to live up to, as far as the Savathun. But yeah, I think to me the key is going to be once inside the Traveler, what is the discovery, right? What is the discovery that allows us to even compete? Because I'm with you, Brianna, in the sense that, right now we've given there's no indicator that we should be on any level with the witness, you know what I'm saying, as it currently stands. And I think my prediction is somehow the witnesses way, maybe even whether it be through Cade or through, that these are former guardians that are dead and whatever, to instruct us to what this path is to be able to combat. But for me, I personally need it to be culminated post campaign in the raid, where the raid really has the true stakes. And I think Taken King kind of set that up where we know we didn't really beat Oryx, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing in the main campaign, and that we have to do this extra thing, thus enter the raid and, accomplish what we need to accomplish. I do agree with Travis that I think that the verbiage will be of what it is going to be explained in like that timer in the upper right hand corner. Traveler's light, traveler's hope. 16 seconds. Who's got the traveler's hope? You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean? It's going to be, I agree with Travis that it's going to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The key for them to land the plane, though, is, in my opinion, now this is really asking a lot. Like,
Hold on.
I need to, I think we had a kind of discussion. Like, I need something that either the first part of the witness encounter, we are really decimated. Like we cannot win. Like there needs to be something that happens in the raid, right? That shows us, okay, what we're doing is not working. And then whether it be cinematic or something really epic that happens, and it's like, okay, now because of this event, you got a shot. You know what I'm saying? I just need something for me. Again, I know this is asking a lot. I know
Yeah,
they've
you're
really
asking
never
a
done
whole
nothing
lot.
like this before.
Yeah.
But
I think
It's not going to be a World of Warcraft raid. The first time you enter, you can't kill it this week. You got to work on building up your gear. That ain't happening.
But like almost like almost in a sense of phase. Like put it this way. Remember when we fought Riven the correct way, right? Like and then you had to go inside the hard something like they gotta make it. And I think that's why I love Last Wish so much, because there was those extra steps to it. They just, okay, shoot the guns, blast it on the plates, remember the sign, who got bird, who got two snakes with the 8. Like we got to do something extra to really finish
I
this
would be
phone.
okay with less symbols though, because I
Oh,
don't
yes,
need to.
please.
I don't need
Yes,
to be
please. We
calling out
will.
like
Yes, please.
Green
Yes, please.
Floyd. That was ours, by the
Mhm.
way. It was the what was it? Vow of the Disciple, and it was like the green pyramid with like all the rays. We called that Green Floyd, and then somebody said that and it just like stuck. So there were some fun call outs pretty
My
early
favorite
on.
thing about
Yeah.
day one raids are the group that you do it with, however the hell you come up with
Oh
the
yeah,
call
yep.
outs. And those stick forever,
Wait.
and you raid with somebody new, and you tell them like, "Oh, this is what this is called," and they're like, "What?"
What?
You're like, "No, you wouldn't understand." And that was on,
Yeah.
21 hours of gameplay.
That's why
Don't question it.
they gave canon definitions in
Yeah.
their
And
yeah.
They ruined all the
like,
fun.
we all talked about it. We were like, "Are we calling it that?" And we're like, "No." Yeah, like
My bid
one,
at the
yeah,
time was I made them all
Pizza hands.
extremely
I definitely remember that one. Sorry.
I made them all extremely personal to me so that they were
Oh, you
indecipherable.
went.
Like I'd
I
be like,
remember
"All right,
some of
guys."
this.
Yeah, I was like, "Guys, look for the one that looks like my relationship with my father," and then they all had to
Oh
just
my
guess which symbol I meant. You know, it was good.
Yeah, that might be a little too inside joke for everybody to
No,
be helpful.
no, I insist. I
Was
insist on
that the one
making
with
it
the hole in the
obtuse.
heart?
No, that was my current medical status. That
Oh.
was that
Oh
one.
my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like it, or I mean, we just did like a random loadouts Deep Stone Crypt, and good old main pain in chat like will call out like Maine and California for like the four little in the chaos room of the descent encounter, and it's like you have to
Oh,
think like, okay, Maine is up here and California's down here,
down
and like,
here. Yeah.
and it's just one of those like fun.
Mhm.
I don't know. I that's like one of my favorite things is the things that you come up with in a day one, whatever sticks, and then the poor people who have to like raid with you later who didn't
Yeah.
do it with you. They're like, why do you call it that? It's like it's best if you don't ask.
Geographic call outs. Yeah, I would tell you, like most Americans, if you did anything besides state geography, we would bomb if you were like, all right, so Italy, Great Britain,
Speak for
Spain, most
yourself.
people would,
Yeah.
most
Speak for
Americans suck at
yourself.
geography, I will say. Having played a few trivia games with some people, most Americans, not the best at geography.
Let's say most Texans. I'll accept the argument. Most
That's
Texans.
Yes,
But
we
no,
do.
I realize that my hopes are high. I am, like I said, I am
right.
more than willing to admit that I huff the copium quite frequently, but it's because it's what I enjoy. And
Yeah. You're in medicine. Copium is just another
it is
herbal treatment.
placebos, if they work, they're still efficient.
It's
So
true, yeah.
Like
but
it's
no,
getting the job done one way or the other, so it's fine.
yeah, as long as the job gets done, journey not destination or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
well, when I set your expectations so low that no matter how the expansion turns out, you are pleasantly surprised, you can
Mm,
thank me.
Yeah.
that's
Travis has
Thanks.
done his job.
Thanks
He's
for bringing me down to
he's
your depths so that I
yeah.
could enjoy this.
Yeah, Travis is like, I'm gonna bring the whole room down so you guys have a little bit
Yeah,
of fun. That's how we
yeah,
roll here.
exactly. There you go.
I mean,
As if
somebody's
Lightfall didn't do that for you. I mean, wasn't that the whole point of this year was to bring the expectations low so that they could knock it out of the park? I sure hope so.
Nah, I gotta put their foot to the fire. They gotta keep it to the test, man. They gotta knock our socks off. I'm not
I agree.
allowing that thought.
No, I think a 7 is like a fail, right? In this one.
Mhm.
Not obviously
Yeah,
7 still means it's a good game, but I think from
yeah,
fan expectations it would be considered underwhelming. And I
yeah,
think that might also be true of an 8 even. I think if it
yeah.
was an 8, people would still be like, but it was the final one, it was the end of
Mm.
the story. This was supposed to be the payoff. Our faith has to be rewarded in the
Yes,
words of the
I agree.
like, I don't
I
know if they
agree.
can do an Infinity War and an Endgame, but I also just it can't be like Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh no! Oh God! Yeah, I remember that.
Travis is over
Woo-wee.
here, you shall drown in the deep.
Woo.
Literally. You're Zal over here just
You shall
bringing us all
drown.
down.
Quote.
I love
No,
how
we got.
Game
Yeah.
of Thrones season 8 and everybody's like, "Oh god. Oh." It's like I totally
Man,
blacked
I'm
that out. I don't
sorry.
even remember that. That didn't
You know what's
Yeah.
happen.
funny about, and I hope this doesn't happen to Destiny, obviously, but the final season of Game of Thrones was so bad it invalidated the entire journey leading up to it. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
now you
rough.
can't rewatch Game of Thrones because you
Yeah,
know how
that's
it
tough.
ends. Like
See,
it
I'm gonna completely disagree with you there. And
Woo, let's
I know
go.
that I am
Pushback.
the
Somebody's like, I
you know,
love all 6 seasons of Game of Thrones. Wait, there's
Let's
I
2
go.
gotta
more.
sprinkle some spice into this. I think that is a disservice to the time that you invest into a game, into a show, into anything by not being able to compartmentalize a good season for a good season without taking
well,
into consideration,
if
what's going to happen.
if 6 of the seasons are set up to an ending that is bad,
But are all of
that's not a good use of time.
But that's not fair to say that the first, 7 seasons were all leading to the things that happened in season 8.
There was
I
a
think
lot
that
of
there were a
taint
lot of
tickling.
closed doors
You know what I
prior
mean?
to
Can you maybe not?
No, I think that there were a lot of closed doors that happened
One time, just let it go. Sorry, not you. I'm
without
talking to
No,
Travis.
no, I don't I don't know. That's I will die on this hill because I think that something like playing games or watching shows or whatever it may be is all, as cliche as it sounds, about the journey and the experiences.
Yeah.
Like nothing to this point has given me the feeling of feeling so mad when I watched The Red Wedding for the first time. Like,
Ooh.
and when that happened, like when season 8 concluded, it wasn't like, man, Red Wedding episode sucked now. Like it did its own all on its own. Like two truths can exist at the same time. I don't know.
No, I
Just
get you go.
Sure.
No, I get you go.
No, I mean,
Sure,
I
yeah. I would never say that the memories we made along the way aren't worth it. But if you're trying to rewatch that show, I mean, try it. Try
Right.
it knowing the ending. That's
No, I
that's
know.
what I mean when I say it's a ending so bad it invalidates the journey.
like the
It makes,
rewatch the rewatch would be harder, but that doesn't mean it's like there
yeah.
certain moments you don't, enjoy along the way and all those.
'Cause
Yeah, so
that's
I
not
get
true
that.
for everything, right? Like there's plenty of TV shows that have had bad endings where you're like, yeah, but I mean, you can still rewatch the show and then you just have to deal with like one bad season or one bad
Yeah.
episode at the end.
You
But
just
like
watch
Game
all
of
the other
Thrones, you
good
watch it
seasons.
and the entire
Yeah.
time you're just like, oh no, like like none of this is gonna go anywhere. Like it is
I
pretty
think
brutal.
the way I process it is like as a fan of the Terminator series, like Terminator 2, the series was over as far as I'm concerned because that's how much I love. Like I don't count what that was. Terminator 3 and all that stuff afterwards, because that's how much of a high regard I kind of have it. And I think some people even feel that way with like Matrix, like Matrix 1 or something like that. Some people didn't like, the follow-ups and stuff like that. But no, I get both points. I get both points. For some, it will invalidate, but for some, it's the journey and doesn't, invalidate the, the emotional impact of something like the Red Wedding or what was it, the Battle of the Bastards, and saying certain things, the Viper and the Mountain. I remember being on that, edge of my seat, like, yo, this is like peak television. Like this show is crazy. Like anything, whoever's your favorite, we could kill your favorite. Like I was
Yeah.
like, damn, show.
I
Like
was
this
one-
show
I
was
was-
cold.
yeah.
This won't surprise anyone, but I was one of those douchebags who'd already read all the books and I was like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys don't know about the Red Wedding.
That's
you guys don't know about the
So
Mountain of the
it was-
Viper.
it-
Come on.
Anyone who is
Come on,
listening,
bro.
I was like,
anyone who is
great.
listening to this show or watching it live is not surprised by that comment,
Yeah,
Travis,
dude.
at
I
all.
was just like,
Oh, you're that
oh,
guy?
yeah.
Of
You
course
guys
you are.
like that? You guys like that? Just wait.
There's
Yeah.
a couple like fantasy books and stuff
Yeah,
that
what's
that
going on,
I've read that
crazy.
are supposed to be getting shows, and I'm just like, I can't wait for everybody to be as emotionally destroyed as I was. Like, so I
Yeah.
get that, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like I'm usually like painfully not optimistic. That's not a good way to put it, but I feel like it's just like, man, I don't want to like chalk everything up to a waste of time. So I do try to like find
Yeah,
something
I didn't
from
mean
it.
to say it's a waste of time. I meant to say that like it makes rewatches impossible because knowing how it ends
Right.
makes the previous content not as fun, which I think is pretty unique to Game of Thrones. Like I can't think of any other series that makes me feel that way. But like yeah, of course we're gonna have the memories we made along the way. We
We
always
gotta ask,
will.
like, Cognito, does Mass Effect Andromeda exist?
Well, we don't talk about that.
Does the ending of Mass Effect 3 exist? Yes, some people
no, Mass
actually
Effect
think
3
I
that.
exists.
I actually haven't played
Yeah.
3,
Some
but
people
people
think
like
that
3.
Mass Effect 3's ending is so bad that it makes playing the earlier games not worth it, and I pretty hard to disagree on that
Yeah,
one. I think
I'm with
those
you there.
you can still play 1 and 2, and honestly, all of 3 up until the final hour of the game. You're like, yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, absolutely. We get somebody said you got to watch the Sarah. Oh yeah, I heard about the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicle TV series.
is it
I did
bad?
hear about that. I've heard good things about it, but I'm just too scared because I'm worried. I'm nervous what they do with the Lord. After my
Terminator and
beloved.
Genesis and all the other stuff that
Yeah.
Dude,
happened. Yeah.
it's a show with time travel and different timelines. What could they do to ruin it? You could always just be like, oh, then we went back in time and didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no stakes at all. Like,
Nah, I
if the
get it.
robots were smart, they would go back in time and kill like the apes.
Don't even
Why
let
would they
humans
just
get
do
there.
that?
Don't even let humans get there.
What?
No, I said you said kill the apes like before they. What is it?
Yeah, kill
Evolutionary.
them before they become humans.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just do that? That sounds like, unless if them killing humans, does that mean the robots never were built, so they're killing
See,
themselves?
then you get into the whole time travel paradox,
whole
and then if you go
paradox.
back, and then you
But
got that whole
they
problem.
want to do that anyway. They want to kill the humans in the past. So
They don't.
wouldn't they be
If
deleted?
they've evolved, yeah, this is a stupid debate, honestly. But it's like, if the robots are this far along, they want to be preserved because they're fighting for their own existence. So they don't
Right.
want to go back and delete the people who made them in the first
Yeah,
place.
they
But you
just
can't
wanna
go back.
delete
try to
the-
Then you're going to be on
In
a
some of
different
the-
timeline, and it's time
in some
travel,
of
and
the
Back to the
movies,
Future
they
is a complete lie. So it's fine.
In some of the movies, they try to go back and kill their own creator, which would mean that they never exist, right?
If I recall, it was something to the effect of the leader of the resistance who turned the tide. So maybe they don't kill, humans in the sense that.
That was you're talking about the second one.
Yeah,
where
that's
they're
what I'm
trying
talking
to
about. I'm
kill
talking about the
John
second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
All
as
I
far
can
as
say
I've
is,
heard,
has
yeah.
anybody seen the alternate ending of Butterfly Effect? That's weird. If you've seen Butterfly
remember it,
Effect,
dude.
like,
That movie was so long ago.
I know, but there's an alternate ending, and you get the DVD or whatever, and you watch that, and it's like you're like, oh, that's why that wasn't in theaters. Somebody has seen it. Okay, thank you. Seriously, clever girl. Yeah, there's one other person who knows what the hell I'm talking about in here. So yeah, if you've ever seen the alternate ending to that movie, that's the one that was not in theaters for a reason. Anywho, we are about at 2 hours. Feel like this is probably a safe time to wrap it up. This has been a hilariously awesome chat, though, as I expected it would be.
Yes.
Met you for literally like 5 minutes and expected this is how this was going to go. So I'm not surprised at all. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you, for one, bringing your chat in here. They are great to keep you honest and entertaining. So this has been tons of fun with them. I think they made it more interesting. We got some good stories. But yeah, at this point, is there anything else you guys want to cover as we get to, or nope? Travis is good. Nope, get me out of here.
We got our break. We did what we had to do. Our star
All
chores.
right, so we'll see you guys in about 5 months. Show hat. No,
5 months. Show. See you in 5 months. We'll
Yeah.
be back.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do
it's all
for
good.
5 months? It's gonna be 5 months of being like,
Play other games.
so what do you guys?
Did you log in for 5 minutes and do your seasonal whisper? That's I see it. We didn't even get to that. I was going to ask you guys. So the seasonal wish quest progression thing starts next week, or starts in February, which I would imagine at the end of the season. I don't even know what that's going to be, and I don't think we're going to know for a little while, since that was supposed to be at the end of the season. So lots of questions to come. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I get nervous with these types of conversations because I am still a Destiny baby, so I appreciate you,
I think you held your
humoring me.
own just fine.
Yes.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
You did your thing. Love the conversations. Love the gaming history. Love the charity events. And obviously what you're doing in the medical field is pretty awesome. So, and you're a warlock, so it's just automatically I was like,
Yeah, you were good there in his book.
I was like, there's no need to question her in anything.
Perfect.
No doubt. E.
That's about all I got. So if you guys want to go through outros, we will start with you, Brianna. The floor is yours to tell people what to expect when you got your charity stream. What are you doing? When's all of it. Just now is the time to share and tell anybody who hears this or sees this where to find you and what you're doing.
Cool. Yeah, like we've talked about, Destiny is going to kind of reach a little bit of a slowdown, so I'm going to pick up tons of games that have either been on my list or are getting added to my list daily. So you can find me at twitch.tv/AllTimeBrianna. I'm actually AllTimeBrianna on everything except for Twitter, where I am _AllTimeBrianna. We love the lack
Don't
of
you hate
continuity
that?
there.
Yep.
I love it.
But yeah, I stream pretty much every day, 4 p.m. Central, though I am going to start forcing myself to take Thursdays off because there are not enough hours in the day. Yeah, we'll continue to do Drinks to Knee stuff every month.
I love that.
It's going to start back up in the new year, so that this month's hasn't occurred, so that'll probably happen 2 Fridays from now. And yeah, that's about it. I appreciate you guys for listening to me ramble for 2
Oh,
hours.
no, this is fun. This is fun. Ton of fun. Thank you for coming through. This was a lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed this.
Well,
Trav, what you got going
You
on,
gentlemen
man?
have anything else as we wrap up? Anything you can, or if you can't talk about anything, then that's NDA.
Alright.
Yeah,
NDA reviews?
I can't talk about much. I've got a maybe Disney Dreamlight Valley review, maybe Pal World review, but the year is starting to pick up. Excited about some releases and excited to get back into some chunky reviews, and then the big stuff I'm working on I can't talk about yet, but I'm excited to.
Nice. Yeah,
Cog?
for me, it's gonna be still probably rock out Baldur's Gate.
Nice.
This month is huge for me. Oh man, Tekken 8 is just it's going
that
crazy
thing.
for me.
It's is it like almost the last day of the month or really close to, or
so close. I am so hype. It's ridiculous. And then that combined with my man Ichiban,
Yeah, you got
Infinite
both.
Wealth, and You're Like a Dragon, which is massive. And I cannot wait for all the foolishness I'm gonna do in Hawaii with this group. And the
Yeah.
new cast of characters and the old cast of characters is exciting. And yeah, I'm hearing fantastic things. And I got something cooking on that with Infinite Wealth that I can't talk about. But look out for potentially, something I want to do with that. But yeah, this is a big month. This is a big month for me, so I'm excited. Then we got I got a developer direct, I think, next week. So
Yep.
I got to talk to you guys.
Literally a week from
but I think it's
today.
early. Yeah,
Yeah,
week
so
from
we'll
today.
talk
I
about it
heard
on the
that.
show. Well,
Yeah, got to
Yeah.
see what Indiana Jones and what you call it.
that's
and
probably the one I'm
Val.
most curious about because I can kind of
Yeah.
wrap my head around the others. I am very curious what they do with that franchise
Yeah.
because the movies
How
have
can you not
been
wrap around? How can you
Mhm.
not wrap around the idea of machine gun games making
Machine games.
machine games
Making
making
Uncharted.
a Nazi killing? They're totally unknown for that.
Yeah, well, I mean
Yeah.
that's fair, but I'm more curious to how much they go into like storytelling, that kind of stuff. I'm just kind of curious what they do,
Yeah.
what it looks
Did you
like.
see the story in those games though?
Yeah. Wolfenstein stories is
Wolfenstein?
fire.
Yeah, no.
Wolfenstein's a goated story
Goated
about a
story.
guy killing Nazis. So I think
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to tell me, Travis, pick one studio you think could do this best, I'd pick them.
Yeah. I'm curious though. Third person, first person.
Mm.
How do they pull that off
That's
with
true.
indie? Yeah, just to see what's their take, right? How they handle. But I'm with you, Trav. Like I have full confidence in the quality of the game. I just want to see how they tackle it. So I'm curious about that. But E, what you got going on?
Well, first I want to thank our guests.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing this time. And our guest coming in next week. We've got Jared coming next week, so
Yay.
that one should be a ton of fun. Actually, before next week's show, I will be doing my charity stream. Mine is actually a week from today, but earlier in the day. So I'll be doing mine early and then still obviously working as long as it goes on to see how much. I'm far from, all that you're probably going to raise, but I'll do my best to come up with some crazy stuff. So stay tuned. I'm trying to finalize those things. I did my preview for Pacific Drive streamed yesterday, posted on YouTube. I'm going to play Prince of Persia, and then same thing with you guys, just trying to keep up with all the new stuff as we, wait for the little bit of Destiny that comes our way here and there. But it's been an amazing episode. Chat, all of you guys and gals have been amazing. Actually, very, very funny jokes in there tonight. So thank you guys for all the one-liners. I appreciate that. And yeah, as we wrap up, thank you guys. So for this episode, it has been a blast. Number 279 here on January 11th. Thank you guys very much. And for this episode, it has been
The last
the last
Last
word.
word.